So I just did a whole intro without me there, which is really exciting. So we're gonna do this again. Happy Sunday, everyone. How are we feeling? It was a good intro too, you guys. You missed out. Y'all missed out. But anyways, welcome to the channel. This is the Africans channel. We do primarily Canadian African content because we wouldn't be Africans if we didn't do both. But today we're doing a little bit something different. We are doing a watch along for the FIFA Women's Under 20 finals that's taking place today. I'm just going to be very excited to kind of keep an eye on that. It's a tournament I've been watching over the time. We did have Canada who was in it, as well as we had Ghana and Nigeria, the Cameroon, who all showed well. Pretty excited to see what they were able to do. But today we're going to talk about the finals, but also just use it as a general discussion topic for that U20 tournament overall. I'm going to kind of open the floor for everyone. We'll be watching the game here. I don't have a stream for it. I'm just going to say it now. I don't have a Discord where the stream will be showing. If you're looking for it outside of the area here, you can find it on FIFA Plus, which is what I'll be doing. I'll be watching off of FIFA Plus with some magical VPNing and finagling here and there. That's where I'll be watching the game, but we'll have the SOFA score on the screen so we can follow that along. But as we move forward, we just wanted to, talk a little about the U20s players that stood out from that standpoint, as well as just discussion about youth development, but then really just talk about all things U20. We'll have some guests who will be stopping along the way as they're here. So, guys, don't worry. If you've never seen me before, well, welcome to me. If you have seen me before, you know the style that I do and everything. So let me just get a moment here and get everything set up here as we begin to talk a little bit about this U20 tournament that is here. I'm doing amazing with this, guys. Thank you, I am Leighton. I'm so sorry. I do not. I've done this 3 times. This is gonna be great. So, as we were saying, let's talk about the pathways that each side made it through here. So we have North Korea. North Korea beat Austria in the round 16 5-2. Probably one of their easier games if you don't count their group stage matchups. Then you had a 1-0 win over Brazil in the quarterfinals and a 1-0 win over the United States in the semifinals, which leads them to their finals appearance here. Then for Japan, they had them beating Nigeria 2-1 in the round of 16, an additional time win over Spain in the quarterfinals, then a 2-0 win over the Netherlands in the semis, moving them on to the finals, which will be played today. I have conflicting times. One site's giving me 5, one site's giving me 4 for where I am. So I said I'd start here, assuming it starts at 4. And if we keep going, we just keep talking about that. So thank you again, Layden. I do appreciate it. So that is the pathways that each side kind of took here on the way, and we're pulling this off of Wikipedia. So feel free to jump on here. Some interesting, if you look at their groups and how they kind of went where they went. North Korea ran through their group 6-2 over Argentina, 9-0 over Costa Rica, which was a side I was high on in this tournament. They were the bottom of their group, which was unfortunate. Yeah, I was wrong on them. And then a 2-0 win over the Netherlands is what they were able to get in their group F. Meanwhile, Japan also ran through their group, a high goal difference. Japan 7-0 over New Zealand, and then a 4-1 win over Ghana, and then a 2-0 win over Austria. And then they kind of switch dance partners because in Austria then immediately played the North Koreans, which is where we are now. Now, interesting note as well, in the third place matchup yesterday, you did have the United States gain a win over the Netherlands in a dying seconds of additional time off an own goal deflection, which is, as a defender, you can't really do anything more than that. Ball bounces off. US comes away with a third place. And that is where we have. So US finishing third here. And then we also have more interesting some of the things that we're still watching in this tournament. So, for example, the Golden Boots are still up for grabs based off of win because we have Maya Hijitaka and Cho Il Sung. I do apologize if I do butcher the names here, who are both sitting on 5 goals each. Those two definitely will have a say into who wins the Golden Boot in this tournament, but also you have 3 North Koreans on 3 goals, and then 2 Japanese players on 3 goals as well. So we could see potentially a finalist run of nothing but awards going through. And I'm very much curious to see how that kind of plays out. Now, for an interesting context, I do believe they did play before, and we did have that in there. I'll just kind of pull that up for you here, just so you guys are, following along and see some of the history. Now, granted, these were not necessarily the same teams that came through. That being said, there is that level of familiarity between both sides, which is something that I just wanted to highlight in terms of that, because in the Asian qualifiers, they did play in the finals. And in the finals, we did have North Korea coming up victorious with a 2-1 win. After that, we'll just throw that up here for you guys to take a look, have a see, and have a see say on that. So there you have it. Semifinals for the stage. So just kind of go through everything that was here. In qualifiers, they were in the same group, which was actually interesting. So they did lose to them in the group stage, which was interesting. So they've had 2 matchups. This will be the third matchup coming through. North Korea had a 1-1 draw versus China, while Japan 10 on Vietnam. And then Japan fell to North Korea, the Chan Young goal in the 22nd minute. And then that's kind of where we find ourselves, where we are, Japan being China and then North Korea over that. And then in the semis, you had North Korea over South Korea in the Korean Derby, which I'm sure was a highly contested game. And then Japan over Australia 5-1, which brought us to the finals where we had Japan falling to them, going up early, but then John Rong Young with a goal in the 44th and the 86th minute, putting it away and giving them that win there. So it's interesting to look at, and you see kind of how the goals went up. Maya Hijitaka again with 4 goals. So that is a player definitely to keep your eye out on this finals game as we're looking at what we'll be looking forward to in this game. I think Maya will certainly have her say in the game. Bless up float management. Appreciate the love. Just pop by, leave a like, just touch the like. Like as some people say when they go to churches, if you don't have an offering, just touch the plate. Make me feel like you were here. Just touch the like button. We'll appreciate it as we go. But yeah, so this game is the second time. It will be the third time that they've played outside of this, and it seems that North Korea has Japan's number. So that's probably what I'll be looking for. I'll go a little bit chalk in terms of players I'm looking forward to kind of keep an eye on in this game. Mai Hijitaka, again, I apologize if I've said the name wrong. It will be for the Japan side, who I'll be keeping an eye on. I think she is a player who, again, she's consistently scoring goals at qualifiers, but then also scoring goals here at the tournament at 5. So I'm going to be watching her on the Japan side. We'll go through predictions. We'll get a little bit closer to kickoff, and we'll talk about that as it is. But in the meantime, let's kind of have a conversation about just this tournament overall. For those of you who had countries who were watching this, or for those of you who were kind of following it from a distance, talk to me about youth. Talk to me about that U20 setup. Talk to me about how your team did. Even if your team didn't qualify it, but maybe showed a few players, let's just have a general conversation. Who are players that you are looking forward to seeing kind of developing, moving forward in terms of their potential, maybe taking that next step on that national team side? I bring it up because, again, African side, but then also the Canadian side of me, there is certainly a lot of Canadian aspects that I could talk about that I'm very much will be bringing up, and we'll bring up that conversation as we kind of go here because I think I'll bring up Canada as we wait for the labs to come out. Canada to me had an interesting tournament here, right? Both on the definitely players that you can keep an eye out for, definitely, but then also looking more conversations when it comes to the the pool, more conversation when it comes to development and things of that nature. So we're here to talk about that as we kind of go and as we wait for the matchup to come through. So I'll bring up that. So this is again, the guys, a general conversation about U20s players that you think we should be keeping an eye on, whether they are in your federation, whether they are on your side, or players that you've seen this tournament who have really looked well. You let us know, and we'll have a conversation about it. I just bring this episode again as we have here, as we wait for the lineups to come up. Players that I think surprise me. I'll bring up my Canadian bias because it is my Canadian bias. Annabelle Chukwu. There was a lot of conversation, I think, in Canadian spaces about this player in terms of for the talent that she has been. Is this a player that you think you need to immediately cap tie, immediately get into your senior setup? I, for one, wouldn't be opposed to it. I love the idea of getting young players who, especially who've had good tournaments, get them into the setup, see where they're at. At least you give those players a standard or a bit of an evaluation mark, let them know how far they are from that range, and then allow them to work on their craft and then reach that level and keep on going. I think Annabelle Chukwu is a long line, and I think she has a bit of a pathway. So, for research context, she is born in England. So, she is one of those tri nationals where, technically speaking, she could represent Nigeria. She could, through her parents, she could represent England due to birth, but it seems more than likely she's going to represent Canada. She's the type of player that I think her pathway to the national team certainly looks a lot cleaner. If you look at Canada's production at the striker position, you say goodbye to a player like Christine Sinclair, and then you have players. I think as a Canadian, haven't necessarily given up on an Evelyn Vienne, but I think the consistency of her opportunities needs to be improved. Okay, okay, so we'll kind of work through it that way. But I think she's the type of player who could work and could be well that I think you don't necessarily have to worry about her as a player in the nine position because outside of say a Jordan Heidema and then an Evelyn Vienne, Michelle Prince, who usually was who Bev Priestman would go to, I think because of the lack of production, throwing her up there wouldn't be so far fetched of an idea. And I think that could open the doorway for there. There's also just the reality with Canadian soccer, especially on the women's side. It could easily just continue as it is, or it can go through a major overhaul just with the we're waiting for what the aftermath of, say, punishment sanctions with all the drone stuff that happened over the Olympics and was happening beforehand. The women's program could be reset in a way where maybe with a new set of eyes, she's a player who can walk into the program, and I think that could bode well for her in that position. So I'm very excited to see what she's able to do. So I am looking forward to her. I point her out as a player. All right. Da, 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 da. Ah, so that's a player there. Again, in that same bracket of four goals, you have a Naomi Eto from Cameroon who truly has all the athletic traits to really push through and be a player that I'm very much excited to see on that senior level. Now the question will be just African women's teams are so inconsistent, right? I mean, we take an example, say of like Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. They host and win the men's AFCON, and then in the same breath, for World Cup qualifiers, they say, "Well, we ran out of money. We don't have enough to support it." It's like you put everything into what stadium security. There's no reason. There's no reason for that to be there. So I think if that's the case, like you guys should be better than that than just say putting all the resources there. And that's unfortunately the inconsistencies with a programs in Africa like that because on the one hand, you have players who are there who are working, and then on the other hand, you have players yet programs who will invest into it. I always bring out the idea of say of a Morocco. Morocco to me is really pushing and standardizing in terms of how to support your program and your infrastructure properly. Now, now I love what it looks like from the outside. I don't know what the inside looks like, and I say this as a Canadian Ghanaian, where like we can play nowhere in Ghana because stadium quality is dropped. Yay! So I think for me, Naomi Eto also good name that a good name, good strong name. Naomi Eto, Samuel is proud. She's a player I think who was able to really stand out. She has the traits. She's a player who, if you can get her into maybe a better setup or maybe a higher setup, you can see her maybe develop, continue to work on her technical side. But from a strictly athletic attribute standpoint, I think she's a player who honestly showed very well for me, and I loved what I saw from her. She's a player that I would add in there. So I think she's a player that I would really want to kind of keep an eye on from that standpoint. If anyone else here has players you want to talk about, feel free to throw them in because we are certainly there and looking forward to talk about them. I'm looking for where is she? I mean, Linda Caicedo is a name everyone knows. We don't really have to say she's someone who is really performing well. Uh, Shout out to Jordan Dudley, who I think is playing for people who are familiar with the North American game, collegiate game. She's at Florida State, powerhouse of a program on the collegiate level. But just how she was able to show up and really perform in those moments, getting big, timely goals. She's a player that I'm very curious to see how she develops. Unfortunately for her, she's a player who was in the American system, and the American system is so loaded for talent that you need to be exceptional to just be average. And maybe opens a doorway for maybe more possibilities, more opportunities for her as a player. I'm actually curious to take a look at her to see if she does have any others. We're doing this on the fly, guys. We are doing this on the fly. Does she have any other opportunities to play for other countries? We don't see it. We don't see. She looks like she is American through and through, but we'll take a look at the parents. But for a Ford, 5'11", 19, playing collegiately, she is certainly a player who has shown a good level in terms of her timing as showing up. I've liked what I've seen from her in terms of just her being able to be around the ball, being around to the score, moving in that sense. So I've enjoyed that aspect of her game, and I'm really looking forward to what she can do, what she develops. Again, she's part of a program where you have to be exceptional just to be average. And maybe that means looking for other opportunities. Maybe it does not, but I'm curious to see from her as a player that where she is. Would love to see and continue to watch her development. More on the Canadian side, just kind of because she is a ball who's been playing U20 since she was 16. Olivia Smith. Olivia Smith, who played at Liverpool today. Oh, she was at had her. I don't know if she had her debut today, but she certainly is a player who kind of bet on herself from the infrastructure standpoint. Did a year and change. Just had a year and change at the collegiate level, and then jumped over and went professional. 1 year in Portugal, a solid year there, 20 odd goals and contributions, and then from there jumping over to Liverpool, right? 18 appearances, 13 goals at Sporting, but then Liverpool this year, a good solid move. I think she is to me a very interesting player when it comes to pathways for, especially on the women's side, because collegiate used to be the standard, especially here in North America, with more and more leagues that are coming up, with more and more leagues that are developing. I wonder if more players, and I've always said this on the Canadian side, but I do wonder if more players take that approach of if they feel like they have the opportunity to really push, maybe they bypass the collegiate altogether and they go to the professional ranks. Some play and it's for some players it works, some players it doesn't, right? For every Olivia Smith, and by no means am I saying this player won't be successful, on her same team you had Amanda Allen, who was about to start at Syracuse, but then said, changed their mind for whatever reason, went to the Orlando Pride, has been off of their bench, getting any contributions, just got a loan moved down to the the women's USL, and she's going to be there. Now, does that mean she's less successful? No, I don't know, but it does open the conversation in terms of pathways and what that will look like for players moving into this age, this new age, into this dawn of with new leagues emerging, with new things coming through. It does raise the question like, what is the best pathway? Get to a professional setup usually is the answer. With the amount of, say, money that is available in this sport currently, and especially with the boom, right? Since we saw since the NWSL had their major TV deals come through, we certainly have seen an increase. You've seen the CBA agreements with the NWSL, which I think will change the game for sports eventually in North America. Just the notion that, for those of you who aren't familiar, the NWSL have changed their setup that there's no longer a draft and with other things, but the no longer draft is the big thing. So effectively, you can sign players at whatever level. What does that do for college eligibility? We don't know yet. We'll see how that looks like closer to that date. But the idea that no longer is it okay, you are that North American model, right? You are the worst team. You get to pick the best player, add them to your setup. Now it's nope. Now you need to set things up properly and kind of work through it that way. So I do wonder what that does for the pathway, especially on the women's side here in North America. But we can kind of take a look at that as we see, as we move, and kind of flow with it as well. Join us today, still looking sharp and still enjoying his time on a Sunday, is Mr. JD here from the IMAX and WeMax crew. JD, firstly, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. How are you doing? Hope all is well with you and the family.
I'm doing all right. Doing all right. We're just waiting for those lineups for North Korea versus Japan to come out. Um,
Are they not out as it?
I have not seen them. I've been searching and scanning, but I haven't seen them as of yet. So I was just taking some time to talk about some of the players that were standing out to me for this tournament. I had mentioned, I've already
No, it's
forgot the
not out
name.
here.
Yeah, I haven't seen it out here. But yeah, I was mentioning Naomi Eto, Annabelle Chukwu, Maya Hishitaka, players, and then Jordan Dudley, just because her timely goals just throughout this tournament. I've enjoyed watching how she's kind of come through and how she's played. For you, I'm sure there are some players that you have seen in this tournament that you've enjoyed, kind of how they've kind of set up. Is there anyone maybe that I haven't mentioned, or if you want to add on to players that I've kind of mentioned that you've really were impressed and you're looking forward to see what that next step for them is on that professional level?
I've found a few players that I would say that I do believe that they can go places. On the Nigeria side, I would only go with maybe one, because the reason why I don't pick none of the forwards as yet, because I know that when their physicality starts good at a younger age, but you have to work on the technical side
Yeah,
when you get older, because when you get older, everyone naturally fits squares off. So even if you're not the biggest, your quick twitch muscles are working at the same pace. You can slow down people. You have better education sometimes, and all of those stuff. So it can your advantage becomes normal.
mm,
It's not
yeah,
as overpowered. So I would say it's only one player alone I would have picked off the team, and it would have to go to the defensive area. I can't really look at it any other way more than just the defensive area for Nigeria. For United States, I have one player also for United States. All right, so I'm going for Oladipo. I thought that she was one of the best centre backs in the actual um, tournament. Our level of jumping very good, physicality, speed, and
mm,
also passing with tackles as well. So I had her on my listing. Then I will go to USA to go for the USA girl. And I'm just going for defenders, and
Okay.
that is very much surprising. But yeah, I will have to go and pick major time. Savannah King. Savannah King is the
Mm.
name. So that's the one that those are the two girls I'm going to pick for now. I think that they could reach places.
No, I think that's a fair one. I went forwards because again, defenders usually don't get that. Like defenders, you don't talk about them. If you talk about them, it's either they made a great recovery or they've just been solid, right? They get no love unless they are working a lot. So I do agree with you in that sense because you there, and then especially at some of the levels, U17, U20s, you see that it's more. You see the raw ability. Like I mentioned, Eto for Cameroon, right? Athletically gifted, but you can see that in the game there are some technical aspects that she just needs to clean up, right? And whether that's getting to another level or whether that's just continue to like work on it and get to a level where she can develop that. You see that a lot. You see the potential in the pieces in those players, and so it's easier to say, okay, Naomi Eto, we see you got 4 goals, but you were just basically more athletic than everyone else. If you
Hmm.
got the technical ability, even if you can improve it, right, to a point where now you are a threat more than just I'm going to outleap you and get this header, it certainly does open the door for her. But defenders, I do agree, like that, not Dudley, but I think a player like, for example, for Canada, like Marcassini, who was
Hmm.
the center back there, solid throughout the tournament, in my opinion. The only problem I think with her is that once you get to the senior team, it's where there is no pathway for her, right? Which is why I think Chuku is more intriguing, just because there is a pathway for her, because you
Okay,
don't have
okay, yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
right, you don't have the nines that are say who are going to be able to. The nines for Canada haven't been producing, so
Yeah,
if you threw in
Idema.
yeah, Haidema, Prince,
City
Yen,
retires. Prince,
Leon.
a bit different. Leon really is more of a wing forward at
Mhm,
this point. So Chuku is much more of a target striker. So
mhm.
she has that ability and she can use her speed as well to come off the wing. So I think I agree with you. I agree with you. That you're looking at it to say that spaces that opens to
Mm.
get you in the national team. That's what you're worried about. So even if you're a super talented defender, you're just not going to get over the two world bosses in the centre back role. It's almost impossible. That is definitely true.
Yeah, and so for that standpoint, it makes sense, right? But like Marcassini's not playing over Gilles, Shadorsky, or Buchanan
Yeah,
at this point,
yeah,
which is just the reality of it. And she's a player, so like she's a player you say, and even Jade Rose, who is like, she is the version of the player that you say they Canada didn't have a good U20s last time, but her and Simia Ujo, they got brought up immediately, and then it was just like now they're regulars. They got brought into the team. You have a midfielder who was solid box to box. You have a center back who you can argue is who they were missing at the World Cup, right? You're just
and,
because, yeah.
and based off what you just said, that's the reason why Aladipo comes in so handy.
Mm,
Because if you look at Nigeria, their centre backs them they're solid, but you could see that if you have a player like this comes in, she kind of brings everything to help
mm,
aid the midfield. So, as what you had just said, you have to look at the positions that people can get in. Because I could have said Riley Jackson. Or Riley Jackson, you saw from youth
yeah,
15s, youth 17s, youth 20s. And I think that she did well enough for you to say, oh, maybe we can consider in a major team, but it's not like she's playing for Jamaica or AD or one of those teams.
yeah.
She ain't getting any game. I don't know when you're gonna see Riley, maybe when she's 27. Yeah, that's the problem. So my question to ask, is it that we are stalling in our region, like the top teams in our region, Canada, United States stalling on players, and they're producing so much younger players?
I think the talent and like the U.S. is the best example to use. In the U.S., you need to be exceptional just to be average, especially on because there's so many players that are there, right? With more leagues, you see more players who get the opportunity, and with the more leagues, they really open up the doors for the late bloomers, right? The players who maybe weren't out the gate playing at 19, 21, 22. Not everyone's going to be a Trinity Rodman or Sophia Smith or a Jaden Shaw, right? Maybe it takes some time. You might say on the American side, Lynn Williams took time to develop. But if you've watched Lynn Williams, you know she's been producing from time. She just didn't get the opportunity because she was behind the Morgans, the Rapinos, the all those players. So I think, and this is where I think my argument with on the women's side, I would like to see a U23 more, not because I think we need, and my reasons are always because time, giving the senior phase, but the gap now these players are entering a scenario where it's not I have to be the best of my age mates. I now have to be the best player in the pool. Period. Right? They're going from swimming in maybe a community pool to swimming at the beach with the ocean. There are so many more players and to stand out for them. Hey, and that's what happens, right? In this type of a level, you need to be exceptional to really move. But I think there is talent that is there. I think the way CONCACAF sets it up, basically, it does benefit, say, the top two sides where they don't have
Mm-hmm.
to play qualifying games. They don't have to do things of that nature. And because of that, they're playing nothing but friendlies, right? Canada is playing Spain, right? So it's like, okay, we're going to play Spain. So we can use that as a let's test out the senior teams, or if they wanted to, they could say, let's, bring some of the U20s in, let's bring some of those U23 players in and see what's going on. I think it'll be interesting, kind of, and Canada is different just because their program could change so dramatically based off of what happens with what they do at coaching, and then the whole structure from there could be different. But I think they've always had talent. The question is the opportunities to get there. I think Canada's main issues for me have been more so structure and the coach, because the coach, like we've had this conversation with Bev. Most coaches will have like their the core 7 to 8 players that they need. Bev has a core 25, and so you have to be extraordinary just to be average, and then once you make that team, it's well you don't have the experience. So, but you don't get the experience if you don't play. So I think the sides, especially Canada and the US, have always had talent. The question is that there's only so many spots on a roster for them to make.
Okay, so pretty much you have to go to your club and play
Mhm.
exceptionally well for you to even get a consideration, because these persons inside the national team has reps in the team and they're performing well at their clubs as well. So pretty much you don't have any spots like
There,
um, local spots to put in the team. No, I'm just asking. No,
well, and
because
that's
I
fair.
never, I never tried to let into this conversation, but the
No,
way
it's
you
fair.
made it sound like even if someone is very good at their club, it's going to be extremely hard. So obviously, I saw other people inside the chat, so I had to bring it back to that
Mhm.
because I can't believe you're answering my question right there.
I
Oh my
think,
God.
and I think there's a reality where somehow we always end up home, JD. We always end up home. But like I think every coach has their preference, right? The one thing from the Herdman Priestman regime is they were very big about this idea of playing in tier one leagues, right? What makes a tier one league? I've looked at different definitions. I think a good example would be for, say, the women's side, Gabrielle Carl. She's playing in Washington now. She was playing in Sweden before, but effectively, Friesland wasn't really going to pick a player playing in Sweden because she didn't rate that league. So then she left that league and then went to NWSL so that she could be seen more, or at a level that was rated highly by the coach. And the coach then brought them in, but then she was always kind of on the edge, arguably your best right back, and she was barely making squads. That's a whole conversation. But when you have things like that, coaches will have standards. Coaches will have their favorites. That is always going to be a thing. You can never change that because they have systems, they have preferences. That's them.
Mhm.
There is a conversation in terms of what does excelling at a level mean for this next level, because like that's a conversation that we've had with different things, right? If you go on the men's side, right, you look at, say, like a team like the US. You've heard the Pete's and the Filippo say, MLS players aren't necessarily what we need because they aren't as quick and fast for the international level. Right? That's something that
Mhm.
they. I think there is a middle ground. Not a middle ground. I think there are exceptions, and there's a way that you can build it. but the standard of what you're evaluating, saying it's not good, has to be improved. Or is the Swedish league a bad league? In my opinion, on the women's side, no, because I think you have maybe three, four solid leagues in the world, and everyone else are just, for lack of better words, are leagues that are developing. Everyone is new to this, so I don't think you can be punished per se if you are able to be dominant somewhere. If you're dominant somewhere, that at least warrants a look, right? Whether that's a call up or at least a hey, we're watching you. But to me, you have to be dominant or consistent in what you're doing. And so I think as we slowly inch towards the local development versus that, your infrastructure matters. And I think this will be interesting, especially with Canada, because now they're adding their own league next year. And it'll be
Mm-hmm.
interesting to see what that relationship is between the national teams and then locally, because I am curious. We've never had something like this. So now I'm curious to say, what does this mean now? Does it mean, say, we're going to, because we need to promote our league, we're going to try to bring certain players and bring them in?
Well, I
Maybe.
can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah.
I can't wait. In the same breath, JD,
I
I
don't
will.
think it's going to happen though. I don't think. I think they're going to truly deserve the spot.
Oh, I
Maybe,
agree.
maybe what they would have done now to promote the league is to bring back some of the older players,
And I think that's
like
what we're going to try
yeah,
to do. Yeah.
because remember Canada have a different level than other countries, so I think that's the best way to do it rather than try to take players out to give them the exposure right there.
Mhm. The one thing I was thinking about, because I saw for Africa they just announced where the Canadian or the the CAF, the Chan versus the AFCON, which is
Hmm.
basically like the national team for
Yes,
local leagues
yes.
and stuff.
What are you going to do now?
Well, they just said where the dates were going to be, and I was like, that would be an interesting concept in Concacaf to a degree. I don't know if it would work though, but it would be like it's an interesting conversation.
They
Effectively,
in the Caribbean Cup.
yeah,
Remember they had it in the Caribbean, but they never had it in Concacaf
mhm,
period. You know,
yeah,
but I don't think our football is that high level
mm,
in no, but that's a good idea. It's what you're
yeah,
saying pretty much. You would like to see a Chan here?
yeah. I think a Chan would work well where it's just domestic. It's just domestic. But the
It's
problem
but
with that is, if you look at like, the problem with that is the U.S.
that's
is
what I'm
basically
saying.
all domestic. They would just be like, oh
It's going to
Lord,
be Mexico. I think Mexico will be winning almost every year.
mm,
It's going to be between Mexico and United States just the same. And
yeah,
surprisingly, I honestly believe that Canada might be coming third as well because I saw your team and your team never. No, let me not slide past Costa Rica. Costa Rica league is a problematic league. So,
mhm.
but I think it oh my God. Wow. Well, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. But maybe that would solve all of the things, all of the problems that certain countries have, because
It wouldn't solve everything, but I mean, it'd be
yes.
the perfect January February tournament. I mean, those windows are basically mini tournaments on the women's side, anyways, right? You have the Arnold Clark Cup, you have the Tournoi de France, and it's like, okay, we're bringing four teams in. You kind of like what FIFA is doing with those regional tournaments, where they
Oh
bring
my
four
God.
teams that normally don't play each other, and then they say, go
Wow.
winners of those two get you're guaranteed two games,
And
and then
you're
you go
only
and play
talking the
that.
ladies' side. You're only talking the ladies' side. Or
I know
men
I'm
as
only
well.
talking ladies side.
Okay, okay.
I'm talking ladies side,
Okay.
but I
Oh
use the
my
men's side as
God.
a reference point.
Then, Canada will be, no, Canada would be better than Costa Rica then. Canada would be third. Even with local talents alone, Canada can still rival for third. I've seen Costa Rica. I've seen Haiti would be good because Haiti can find some pieces, but I still think that they're going to be down there. Oh my God, that's no, no, no. That's not going to be fair because America has so much talent, but you are trying to figure a way out to get other kids time. That's what you're trying to work out.
Yeah, because you're not gonna. And this is why I'm like, if you're not going to have a proper U23 cycle, with the Olympics, even if it's just for the Olympics. I mean, it's the reality of it for the bigger nations. Once they get past the U20s, you're just playing. You're no longer swimming in the pool. You're swimming in the ocean. And so, from my perspective, like, where could I give players say that opportunity to keep going, which isn't an impossible ask. Because like for Chan, it's just basically, hey, everyone who's local, we bring them in,
Mhm.
we do a tournament for them, they go play, and it's built as they, hey, these are the wave of the local
Yeah,
stars who
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
didn't get sold already, but hey, you're here, so why not? I
I,
don't. I
I
think I'd be curious.
I was impressed the last time I saw Morocco in the
Mm,
men's side, though.
yeah,
But when the World Cup came along, and the fact that none of them got game time for Nigeria as well, you saw that none of them got game time. Ghana did brought over like two to three of them. So at least Ghana did something, but the results never go their way.
they brought them for vibes, JD. They brought them for vibes. They brought them for the intro for the Jama Jama. They were there. They danced. They sang. They chanted. That was they brought them for vibes. Like what?
Yes, so I don't know what to say. Maybe the levels, as what you have said, is not just there as yet, and it's going to take a little while, but it's still a good opportunity for people to see them, And then, if for instance, like how we have country like my country that I'm from,
Mm,
um, would like to sell a narrative, it would have exposed those narratives and then give the kids them exposure at the same time. So if they're really good, people could get to see them, and nobody is there to stop them. So quota systems would never be needed, because at least you'd have gotten a second opportunity to be seen. So, for instance, Morocco provide that way. So if you're good, you're going to leave through that hole, and then the national team leave reserves for the national team for everybody that's Moroccan. So I think you just might solve um, my country's problem. Yeah, good idea. Even though you never planned to help them, but that's the way you solve it.
yeah, it would be interesting. The other words. The other interesting thing is, I mentioned this earlier. Have you been following the announcements that the NWSL made? How they're abolishing the draft, and now it's you
Hmm.
can sign players from colleges or wherever from any point. Like, I personally, I like it. It will expose some of the gaps that some of the teams have, i.e., if I'm signing you, because I think that's what happened with a player like, for example, Canada. Jordan Heidema deserved to be signed by PSG, but
Hmm.
if they had signed her and put her in an academy, and PSG had a proper academy set up, I think maybe she doesn't spend 4 years just sitting on the bench, because effectively she went to college for 4 years in Paris, and then she came back to NWSL and is a solid 9 here. But I think what that will do now, it's going to open up the conversation in terms of some clubs have academies, some clubs don't. Some clubs will just say, yeah, we know there's a salary cap and all that, but do you want to? There's opportunity here, or some don't, right? On Canada again, Olivia Smith played 1 year of college and then said, I think I can do this. Portugal for 1 year, 18 games, 13 goals, 20 goal contributions. Now she's at Liverpool, right?
Hmm.
That I think opening it up is interesting, and it will be a fascinating case study to watch, see what happens. For you, do you think this opens? Do you think this closes the gap? Does it help the NWSL and their players, or does it also help leagues outside of North America because players
Of
are
course,
looking for
it,
opportunities?
it helps world football, and that's
Mhm.
how I'm going to get my $1 million player. I told you it was going to come. And now you're going to see it now, because that is the perfect opportunity. Because now you don't have to wait on a certain programs. Because
Mm,
why they did that is just to keep the talent coming through for United States. But at this point, ladies football is at a different level.
mhm.
Ladies football have catched up on men's football as to how fast they are producing talent. So it's not dropping off. United States has 4 or 5 different teams. They just need to pick a style and pick towards that style. You could say the same for Spain. I just had Echa Kamara, that played right back and center back for Barcelona.
Yeah.
She's 17, And by the next year, she can come in for Batley, because I saw Batley when she had problems with Brazil. You clearly saw that you need a bigger, stronger physical right back to fit in that slot. And she can do that. Spain has 5 teams. So I think that you can drop these rules and signings and stuff like the MLS and just go by buying players, no caps.
Mm,
So you get, we just saw um Hermoso, Hermoso in Tigres. We need things like that, because I honestly believe that the WSL, um,
yeah.
they have a opportunity to be the best league in the world, because I truly believe that the football that's played in America is top tier. I think they can bust down some of the English teams. I saw them playing in preseason, but obviously that's just preseason. I want to see them in some competitive battles. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So I agree with you. I think it's a very good thing, and I can't wait for somebody to buy Vicky and bring her over here. You know, at
So
this
one.
age. Yes,
Oh.
1 million. Yes, you buy her now today. You know that's when you know football change. When you get
Mm.
stars like that in a country that they are trying to keep there, you buy them and bring them over here. Yes, man. But it looks good for me. It looks good.
I
Why
mean
are
this.
they taking so long?
I mean, we talked about NWSL, right? I mean, they signed all this year. If you were an African striker in the world, you're in America at this point, right? Oshala
Mm-hmm.
came, Kanu came,
Yes.
Rachel came, Banda came, and they were just
Yes.
like the comparison is fair. It was Premier League 92, 93 when they got the TV deal. It literally is the same thing. They got the money and said, okay, let's go get the best players. And I think the more they see that being successful here, I still think as a league, the one thing I wish they would do, and this is my one gripe with them, just take the international breaks, guys. It's okay. Just take a week. Whenever there's an international break, take a week, do it, and then they kind of move with it. That's my one gripe with the league. But other than that, I think the more successful that players are, I mean, look at a player like Bunny Shaw and the, Visa wasn't filed. Okay, guess where you won't have that problem? North America. So new side somewhere. Do you guys want to sign one of the best
She's gonna have
strikers
that
in
problem just the
WSL?
same. You can't just go in America being a Jamaican. She just need
Oh,
to
of
be,
course.
for some reason I don't know how that can reach you. If you're a resident in England, you shouldn't have so much problem. You just try to switch over your passport or something. You know, you're still a Jamaican. You know, so just try and get a different passport and you can go everywhere, you know. And that's why I was surprised when I heard a man tell me that, oh, Jamaican passport can go everywhere. I'm saying, who are who they are telling these things? So I want to take up that video. I want to take up that Manchester City clip and just go back to that person. So why are you telling people these things? Bro, nothing like that, man. Bunny shot, just go and get a different passport. Keep your Jamaican passport, but you can find a different way how to not have those problems, you know. But I get your point, Africans, 100%. And to be honest, maybe she could fit the systems over here a little bit better too. But my question to you, how will you look at the top teams in the world? Like 1 to 4 or 5, the 5 top leagues, if you want to give it in order, because I would love to hear what you choose.
So the five, 1 to 5 top
The
leagues.
top leagues. So not
Okay.
necessarily the best team, you know, or the best 2 teams. Yeah. I think I don't make
Yeah.
a league, you know.
I think from top to bottom, and like this is where you have to kind of erase the men's bias, where you say North American football is below standards. On the women's side, North American football
Hmm.
is top five. They are top five because from top to bottom, I think the quality is there, which is why I think I'd go the W first.
So North America first, you're going.
No, I'm going the England, the WSL, the Women's Super
Oh,
League.
okay.
England.
England, you're going England first.
I'll go England first because I think
All right.
from I think A to Z,
Yeah,
from
because you
top
have
to bottom, I think the
Arsenal
league
that
is
is
better.
solid. You have Arsenal that is solid. Manchester City solid. Chelsea the champion.
Yes.
Liverpool very good. Aston Villa very good. Brighton very good. Tottenham very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You have a point. You have a point. All of those teams are
Yeah.
seriously good. Okay, let me hear. All right, so
And
you go
and
with
and this
England.
is So England, I go first, and then I have a question where I'm kind of in the middle. I flip flop with them every day. I want to say North America, but then I also look at France and I say I think France is. I don't think France gets the credit. I know France is on the women's side. France is basically for men's is the German league, right? It's the Bundesliga.
Mm-hmm.
It's Bayern and a bunch of other people. And so in France, it's Lyon, and then
Lyon,
sometimes and then PSG
Paris,
does some things,
PSG. Yeah.
right? PSG, Paris does some stuff as well. So I don't think they are bad. I don't think they are a bad side. But then if you look at the influx of talent that's come in North America, just based off of the spending, bringing all the bringing all the African strikers over and then having them still be successful, it's like okay, they were good still, guys. Why didn't you believe us when we said they were good? So I think interchangeable. I'll go WSL and the French. I mean, I'm not W NWSL and then the Darkinas. So USA there, and then right underneath them, I put the Spanish league. Those three, I could give me any order for those three. It's
Okay.
not a problem
So
for me.
so at this point, guys, African has England first, and then he doesn't know the next three, but he knows that the next three
I know who the next three
Spain,
are.
France, and the WS.
Yes,
Okay, let me know if you think that the leagues are that tight. All right, because I agree with you, Africans, because Spain, I I was saying that your style this is making Spain, but when I look at Spain still, Spain kind of have one team and it's not even two, it's literally one, and
mhm,
everyone else is like two steps behind them, like three. So the um Atletico, Real Madrid, they are on
yeah,
similar level, but
yeah,
none of them close to Barcelona.
mhm.
Yes, so I agree with you. I agree with you. So it can't be a top league. They only have maybe the best team in the world, but they don't have the top league.
Yeah, and that's where because they're very top heavy. They are how they are on the men's side how we look at the league are the France league. It's PSG and friends, right? Or how Bayern was in like some eras of like the 2000s where it was Bayern. Dortmund might do something, but you know it's the Machina and everyone else. So I think that is fine. And then after that, the Bundesliga on the women's side. So German League 5 because Wolfsburg are still a solid side. They are still
Yeah,
to be
yeah, I was
respected.
watching them.
Bayern is always going to be throwing money into it, and as more, it's so new, right? More teams are just saying, let's just throw in more, and so every new team gives more
Lineups is out.
opportunities. Lineups are out, perfect.
Yes, but maybe not on, maybe not on soccer sofa, but on FIFA. Is you're on FIFA already, or you want a link? Because I have the link here. I will just drop it here
Yeah,
so you
drop the
can
link
get it.
there.
Yeah, so because I've already seen the list.
All right, all right.
Damn. America. Well, America still won, beat Germany. So I got my answer. So Africa is really, oh my God, you got the prediction did not go so nice for you, you know? Yes. I got away. I got away. I got saved.
You certainly were. I
I,
after I'm telling you, JD. After who was it who lost? Once Colombia lost, the Netherlands is like, oh no. I was like, maybe after I was like, well, guys, they're predictions. They aren't facts, right? So I can't. I'm not gonna be right all the time.
but they were all tight games. So you know when they're tight games, this it's only one human being in the world. What just try to make stories up for to make sure your prediction looks bad. But when the games are tight, and you make sense in the prediction. I think that is perfectly good. You know, yeah,
No, I agree, and I think that's where it becomes. I think the one that was the most surprising for me was the USA Germany game. I went
yeah.
to bed with that game. I was like 2-0 additional time. I'm going to sleep. At least I have the Germans. I woke up the next day. I was like, oh, I don't even have that. Oh, okay, okay. So I was wrong. Well then. What happened here? Oh, Dudley decided to be a hero. Oh, they scored two. Oh, penalties. Germans couldn't imagine you lose. You beat a German side that couldn't hit a penalty. What is this football history? That should be guaranteed. Ah, that should be guaranteed. But here we have the lineup here. We'll go through players. So North Korea in a 4-4-2, Japan in a 4-2-3-1. We'll scroll through that. By the way, as we said earlier in the stream, this is the third time they'll be playing. They played twice in qualifiers for Asia, and North Korea won both times. So North Korea does have their number, it would appear. And so we go. So Gyeong in goal for Korean Democratic People's Republic (DPR), and then for Japan we have Okuma. Backline Ryong, Song, Mi, and Young for North Korea, and then Kashimuru, Yoneda, Sasaki, and then Shiraki are the back line. In the middle, you have Yong, Jong, Ok, and Young for the Koreans. Then Matsukubo, Hayama, Matsunga, Oyama, and then Koyama in the midfield.
Boy,
And
those
then,
names. Oh
yay,
my god.
listen, I went to school with Koreans and kids from Hong Kong. You learn to
Oh,
say those right if you want to survive. Okay, okay.
all right. I heard. I heard. I heard.
Listen, I went to that school and they were like, "I am not Korean." I'm like, "You learn quick." The kids who trying to mess it up, they learned quick. Okay, their faces were new colors at by lunch, and it's like, oh, they learned. You don't call a Korean from Hong Kong. You don't call someone from Vietnamese Japanese because they will let you know. So you learn to say that. And then up top, the two Golden Boot runners are there. So Sin Hyung for Korea, but then Son, and then Hijitaka up there for Japan, both with 5 goals each. I mean, I'll make it very simple. That's the two players I'm looking at. Hijikata and then Song. Those two players, whoever scores wins the Golden Boot. Um, and it's, I mean, I am in words for this women's FIFA under 20 game. I am siding with the North Koreans. I want to make sure that I said that in the game. I am siding with them. These
And
two,
may I ask why are you siding with them?
I looking at the games that I think the 2 games beforehand, looking at their qualifiers where they won 1-0 and then 2-1, they've beaten them holding on to the lead. They've come back against the side. There's a degree where they've had a bit of a, not to say they had a tougher journey in, but I think their list of teams that they've beaten is
Yeah.
slightly more impressive for me.
Ooh.
Right?
Okay. Okay.
Like, let's take a look at the pathway. Right?
Yeah.
North Korea beat Austria 5-2. By the way, Japan beat Austria in the last game of their group game, so Austria just saw a lot of East Asian just beatdowns. And then
Mm-hmm.
Brazil 1-0 in a game that I thought that Brazil would hold the ball, and
Yes.
North Korea was just better. They were just better than them on the day. And then the US game, they get the goal and then they weather the storms. I think they are best suited for that. Then Japan, nothing. The Canada game, I mean, no, Japan, sorry.
No, just
Nigeria, I think I
Nigeria.
was looking at Spain. I went
They played
Spain. So,
Spain.
yes,
They played Netherlands. You're hyped up Netherlands. So
yes.
imagine. No,
When
I
they're
think
taller, JD, I just side with the taller side. I'm sorry. It's a thing.
well, everybody's taller. Or maybe only Spain and Japan might be at a similar level. I think they are even taller than them, just the same. Because
Mm.
Kamara looks like she's 2 foot taller than every human being there. Yeah. So, but I'm thinking. I don't know if anyone wants to give their take on that one, but I think that the versatility in styles that Japan had might just help them. They play their Nigerians big, fast, and strong.
True.
The Spaniards, the most technical team with speed as well, and then they brought in the big, speedy, technical, crafty team in Netherlands, and they
Yep.
won all of them. I would say that the Spain game, it was very close and 1-0 decides it. Anyone that won the game on the day would have been okay. But Spain is the champion. So if you won by a 1-0, I
You
yeah,
still be the champions. I agree.
yes, I would have to slightly favor Japan's route. But if you're gonna say that because North Korea's keep beating down everyone for a lot of goals, then I could understand where you're coming from. But I have a feeling that I know why you are behaving like that, against Japan.
what, why you suggest? No, 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 no. Tell me why I feel this way, JD. Since you
No,
know me so well, tell me
I have a
why.
feeling that it's
Okay,
because
let me hear this
Japan
theory.
slapped up Ghana 4-1.
I completely forgot about that, JD. I won't lie. I completely forgot about that. Okay, I completely forgot about that. But now that you mention it, well, I'll just add that to another reason why I think North Korea on the
That's the
soccer
first thing.
pitch will
That's the
be.
first thing came to my mind. I'm saying,
Oh,
okay, so
JD,
Africa just completely loses his prediction king solely based off bias.
am I that consistently hating that people just assume,
No,
oh, they beat his team, so yeah, he's going for the other side for sure, for sure.
no, I'm not saying you're consistently eating. I'm just saying, it just looks like I don't know why it's accident. It's accident that you always end up on the side against the people that beat your team.
Oof, I couldn't tell you,
All
but
right, okay.
consistently, I would say that I think we do our best to stay as impartial as possible.
All right, all right.
But there are some things that I can never be impartial about. And that's fine. But I honestly think that based off the pathway that they've had, right? I think I like what they've done, and like because even looking at they're both high scoring teams. They went three up in their groups. No one was really a challenge. Japan, you could argue, had no because you had New Zealand, then you had Costa Rica and Argentina. That's not a based off how they play. That's not a real path. But I think I've been more impressed. And maybe it's just because I underestimated them from the jump, right? Because when we did our previews, right, I had North Korea. I'm like, yeah, they'll make the quarters or the semis, whatever. And then you're like, then they win the whole thing, and I was like, well, I mean, sure, but that's just there. And then they came here and they were just machines. They
Yeah,
ran, and so maybe North Korea their 2 year hiatus is done and they're back on the world stage and things. But I think this sets up for them really coming through because they won this back in what year was it 2016. They won this back in 2016. Yeah, they won this back in 2016. Right, Japan won it in 2018, and then the Spanish Revolution happened in 2022,
Spanish
and
Revolution.
it was
All right.
literally because like what U02 it was USA, Germany, North Korea, USA, Germany, USA, Germany, North Korea, Japan, Spain. Based off of that, I mean, 10 years within 6 years. Yeah, I just feel that it's going to be North Korea because I think they have their number. The two, if they had split in the group, I might be more willing to give maybe a chance for them. But because they've won both games tight, I know it'll be a
Mm-hmm.
tightly contested affair. But I'm gonna go with what their final was for Asian qualifiers, which was 2-1. I'll
Two
go
one.
2-1.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
2-1
okay.
for North Korea.
Well. Let's see. But I can look where you're coming from. But I just believe that because I saw them play set up for two different team, completely opposite
Mm.
teams, and they handled it well. So I would not be surprised if Japan shocked them today. Yeah,
It wouldn't
I
surprise
would
me
not be
either,
surprised.
but I think I am rooting for. I'm going for the team. Both teams have been dominant. North Korea has been a
Mhm.
little bit more dominant there, and I think I'll give that edge to them. That's kind of where I'm
Yeah,
going.
that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I'm trying to
But
get the play by play, so at least people that's coming in can get their takes off it.
yes, but yeah, as we are waiting for it, guys, we're about 15 minutes away. Ooh, interestingly enough, who will win this according to SofaScore? We have 54% going with the North Koreans and then
Yeah, obviously.
35% going with the Japanese. I think they've just been a little bit more dominant, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think they're just it's kind of where they are. I think they're a solid side. They're going what 2-1. Okay, not bad, not bad. Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, I think ultimately they get past. For the people who've been stopping by, let us know who you're choosing, who you're picking to win this. And as you're there, give me a player that you've been excited or you've been impressed with this tournament. I gave some of mine earlier on. Natalie Eto, Chukwu. I liked what Dudley did. I know Ali Sentner got goals, but I mean, I'm excited for it's like I said earlier. Sometimes it's hard for me to be excited about some American players, not because that they aren't talented, but to make their squad, you have to be exceptional just to be average. And so the pathway is just at this point, I'm looking at American players and I'm thinking where's your mom from? Like, do you need to play for America? Like, where's your dad from? Like, is that where are they from? Belize? Okay, I understand. Okay, just say that. No offense to Belize. I'm gonna catch. There's gonna be some folks from Belize who are gonna say I'm throwing shit at them for no reason. I don't want to be Fiji in the city of Cleveland. Um, but yeah, I'm just curious to see kind of what it is. We interesting enough, there's a whole conversation, JD, with Annabelle Chukwu with some Canadians that are like, we need to cap tie her before the English do. And
Okay, okay.
my response is, I'm not saying you don't have to,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I looked at their depth chart. I was like, I mean, Lauren James is still 22, whether you believe in Lauren James or not.
Yeah,
But
but Lauren James is not a striker like Chuku.
she isn't. I
Both
think you
of
have.
them would both of them would be on that pitch. That's all I do know. And
I don't disagree.
England would be very good. That's it.
I think for her pathway to starting minutes at a senior team is a lot clearer with Canada
I
than it
know.
would be
And
for England.
keep telling yourself that, all right?
Let me
You're trying
let
to
me let
convince
me.
yourself.
Yes, I am. Okay, you want me to build my bunker of fear for players that we might lose? Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah,
another one.
well, believe me, this kid is so talented. Don't be surprised if England gets in because they don't have that striker. In the last World Cup, remember that was one of their sole problems. If they had a striker like that, like the size and the strength, they could have played off them. Believe me, man, they would have done massively better. So don't be surprised if they would look. I'm not saying that they are
Oh,
going to,
true. Oh, of course they
but it's
will.
not impossible at all because she's doing things at a ridiculous level. And they're tracking it, because the
Yeah,
TV does not turn off. They're watching it. So don't worry yourself. Canada need to lose a few talents, to get it back down to the level of other CONCACAF teams.
Mexico. You're talking about you want us to be at the level of Mexico? Okay, you
Yeah,
could
yeah, 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 yeah.
you could argue that we are Mexico can get us on their day. Oh, that I don't doubt. Mexico can beat us on their day, no doubt about it. I think
Okay.
that, and we had this conversation a bit like we were talking to the Olympics. Not to say that this era has been disappointing, but Canada faced the U.S. with the U.S. in transitioning, and we were only really able to get pull draws out of it at our best. Yes, we beat them at the Olympics in penalties. Well, we got the one penalty that we beat them at, but if there is a quote unquote disappointing part of like the last few years when they're transitioning from Vlatko to going to Emma Hayes, we could only pull draws against them, against a
Mm-hmm.
U.S. side that was vulnerable, right? The U.S. side who missed a billion chances and then didn't come and then was done after, and Sweden beat them at the World Cup. That's the side I said that they were the last tournament they'd be beatable was the Olympics, and it wasn't good. Their midfield wasn't really solid, but that top line and that back line just said, "Get on the back, we're getting a medal," and they did it. So I think they will be interesting to kind of take a look at in terms of what they are doing and what they are working through. But let's go through. But yeah, I'm going North Korea 2-1. Hello. All right. right, so yep, that 4-2-3-1 sitting well. All right, let's get it going when we are live. So yes, they've all. When you look at soccer way, it's just like they've won all their games. Yeah, yes, we know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They won all their games and looking very solid. But both teams did the same, you know.
I
The
agree.
only thing you could say one might be taking a little bit more goals, but aside from that, they're equally similar teams. But I'm going to go with Japan. You know,
Not.
I'm
I think
taking Japan.
it is more than reasonable to say Japan can win this game. I think that is more than reasonable to say. I'm just going based off history and just
Hmm.
they've just looked a little bit better in that sense. So I think that's where we'll go with it. But we will
Well,
move.
boy, Africans they need to win this one, you know, because
I don't.
if you lose.
You act as if I want a crown here. I don't need
No,
this crown.
I know you don't need a crown, but you still need to win one, you know. You still need to win one of the, you know, you can't just go like that, you
You get
know.
my legitimacy. My legitimacy will not be based off of this result. It's
That's true.
already
That's true.
questioned. It's already questioned to begin with. So
You need to
we
get
will live. We have Italian refs for this. Fourth official is that. Oh, actually, since we're on that, how did you find their revamped VAR for this?
the revamp VAR.
So
I,
basically,
I,
yeah. For those of you who
I,
aren't familiar, they effectively just went. Um, the team can ask for something to be checked, similar to say like basketball or North American sports, where you can put out a review, and then if you are wrong, you just have two, and if you're wrong on both, you lose them, and that's about it. To try to speed up the game and not check everything as it goes. Did you like it? How did you find on that?
it's questionable because you are going to tell me that um, I only have a certain amount, but I don't know how much incidents will be in the game. That seems like basketball at this point. Basketball does the same thing. You challenges them pretty much, you know.
Yeah, and
So it's tough, and some. I think football it's going to take. It's going to be harder for it to work properly in football because football has more than two incidents per team every
yeah,
game. You know. So
that
just
I
put it
agree.
like five. If you had said five incidents every game, I would say, all right, no problem. And then after the five, then you're on your own.
Yeah, I don't know if I understand going for the numbers because that kind of limits you to stopping flow of the game because I can
You
see that one of the arguments with it, but I I'm not sure if limiting the amount of times a coach can ask because what was happening. So, for example, for Canada, it was like anything that looks suspicious, you kind of went for it, or if someone scored, you just kind of challenged it, and then you hoped you were right, and if not, you moved on. Right? It seemed more last ditch than it was before. I think the problem with that though becomes like where's the line with it? And I understand both. There's not really a simple solution because you would say all scoring plays should be reviewed. Cool, but then
Mhm.
up to what points, right? And that's what their problem was, right? Because the problem was becoming, hey, you're checking for offsides, but now we're checking offsides up until when the first pass is made, and then you're saying, oh, but
I
this man clipped his
understand, but
ankle
so
here.
are we trying to get the game correct, or are we trying to make people feel like we're getting the game correct to a certain point, and we get to go home at the same time? If you're getting it correct, you just stick to by getting it correct rather than trying to get to go home but get as much entertainment as possible. You know, because I am going to feel hard done if I have 4 to 5 incidents in a game, and then you're going to tell me that I only can review certain amount. That is like you're trying to protect yourself and try to as make the game more entertaining. And who said that? Someone said that before. You're going to use entertainment to lose the actual quality of the football. You understand me?
Yeah.
Because if it's a legitimate call, Africans, I see no reason why you can't go to it. But it's rough. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough. If you like it, it's okay. If people like it, it's okay. But I'm just saying, I do think more than four incidents in a high profile game. I've never seen a knockout game where in which you don't have more than four incidents. That's almost impossible because both teams going for it.
Yeah, and I think that's where trying to stop the stop and go of it is usually the answer. But that's usually their logic that they use. But I think ultimately, in doing so, it works. I think it should be like my thing is if you're gonna have some a system like that, do it
Mm-hmm.
in such a way where you're basically saying if you're right, you
Thank
can't be
you.
right, you can't be wrong twice, basically. So if you're right, okay, next one. You're right again, cool, next one. You're right again, cool, next one. Now that might make it more stop and go, might make it more
Mm-hmm.
chalky in that way. But if you're just doing it to stop the flow of the game, right? Just because of that, if you're right, cool. But if you're wrong, okay, you're done. As long as you're still right, I would say keep going it. Now that might make people more hesitant to take a look at it, but be certain what you're trying to look at. Don't just be throwing hail marys here because now it becomes part of the game, right? If you're just trying to tactically say we want it reviewed because we don't want to be down 2-0, but if you've seen something, you're saying no, no, they were off. Let's challenge this and let's be certain. Let's get them right. Let's not just try to be right. And I think that's where I've kind of settled myself in with it.
Yeah, I can work. I can work it out. But oh my god, VAR. I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
The problem with
I
VAR is that it was set up to take it was set up for one egregious problem. Like it's one egregious thing that happened, and now they've opened the door for so much more. Right? One egregious mistake happened, and in order,
perfectly said.
yeah, and so you have to be careful with that. But that's just the reality. They opened Pandora's box once they said we can't have this type of mistake happen. It's like, well, then don't have it. Right? Goal line. No one argued about goal line technology because that was simple, right? If you were English, you were mad in 2010, and then if you were German, you were mad in 1966. That was it. Those were the people complaining. And then after that, they said, okay, we have a sensor in the ball. If my wrist goes off, it's a goal. No one complained. Well, what if there's a
and
technical? No one complained.
and you realize that even to this day, you still have goal line problems and also sideline problems. Even
Mhm.
to this day, certain certain things. Yeah, I just don't think you're gonna get perfect. You know.
Of course. But if you can acknowledge that you aren't going to get them, but you'll do the best you can with it, that's where I
Yes,
think
yes,
it
you're gonna
works.
get as close as possible, and hoping that you don't have none of those incidents in the next 10 years. Like you are at least two seasons, you can avoid one. But the English Premier League, Arsenal versus Newcastle was one, and it was Germany versus what, North Korea or South Korea?
South Korea.
Yes. So you had it in 1.5 years. So it made it look like your technology is not really working because you can't come to a definitive answer. You know,
Yeah. And
you have to
that
just
I
go
think
and
that's
say
where it
this
is.
is what it is. All right, so we are about to start now. All right,
We are about to start indeed.
come on, Japan. Let me see something. I was bragging
Let's
today, saying that City will burst down little average Arsenal, but it never really materialized the way I expected.
you
I have
know,
never seen such a dominant game, but as it goes back to VAR yet again, because I
yeah,
thought that with 11 players, they were going to beat Arsenal because no Arsenal they have a new swag about them,
yeah.
even the fan base. Yeah, you have to laugh.
All I know is I was cleaning the house and kind of having an eye on it, and then I just felt one buzz, two buzz, and then many buzzes. I was like, "What just happened?
Yeah,
What just
yeah, yeah,
happened?"
yeah. It's a tough game.
Uh, But
All
yeah,
right,
once
so
I
we have kickoff.
yep,
Kickoff is on your side.
I have them here kicking off soon. I think I might be behind you.
But both of them is really technical, so I
Yeah.
really want to see how it works out. All right, early break here from Korea. they, they are shooting every single chance they get.
At this point, they are taking this as if we get one, we're good. So let's look for the rebound here. That's what this feels like.
Nice intention.
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's definitely a free kick.
Mm. Yeah, I can't say
Well,
that.
yeah, the start is very good from Korea. But you got to respect the way Japan winning it back to try and counter. So we have not seen it as yet, but we don't know how Korea will deal with it. I see the first opportunity for Japan. They go long. Yeah, that's poor. You have to make sure those opportunities work. You know, these teams, the best chance you have is to get a goal on them, so
Yep.
you could counter. But if you want to keep and sit down and waste your free kicks, you're gonna have problems.
Yep.
One
I mean,
second.
there's there's free kick quality here. There's no doubt, but I don't think this is a game. This is a game where it just feels like someone wants to score so they can sit back, like you were saying, and
Mm-hmm.
whoever does it first, they get to play that game that way. This is the
Yeah.
this is the more entertaining USA England game at the Men's World Cup, where both teams wanted to play on the counter, and they were just like, "Well, you do something." This is what we wanted, but let's see how this goes through.
Handball. One second.
All right, all
Go and
right.
turn this off.
Ball coming in. All right, throw in to the North Koreans. Ball moving to the midfield, passing around. Seeing that always passing, progressing into, going off to the sidelines. Good ability, good movements, but movement and seeing what we have. It's gonna be a fun game. Keep an eye on. I look forward to that first goal to come through. Guys, again, if you are stopping by, just leave a like here and give us your predictions as you are there, and we will go from there. Ooh, looks like the play by live action here just froze here, so we're gonna take that down for a second here. All right, so game still progressing, same game still looking good. All right, so sorry about that, everyone, but we're going in. Still ball moving, lots of midfielding.
What? They're already trying to score.
Yes, they want to sit back and
Good
counter.
tackle.
Okay, they need to save their legs somehow. All right, let me get you
Good
back.
chance. Good chance. Good chance, but I don't think the finishing was the best. Tried to get it to a corner, but good start. 17 years old. Okay.
Yep.
So what do you think about them? You think that they're getting it for such a talented bunch from these countries? You think that they get enough players to the highest level? Or you think that why you don't think that they have gotten all of their players to that level?
Which side are we talking about here?
Like for instance, Japan, we have to look at Japan a little bit more because I saw them doing well in World Cups and all of those stuff. But when you go into worldwide football, you see one or two on some of the big teams, but you don't see all of them on the big teams.
I think it's a combination of a liking and trusting the system that you have, but then also there are leagues that they have. I think some of the players are from in terms of that are comfortable where they are, and the systems are there. Like Japan, usually at the U17 and U20 are all collegiate players. They are all more so like say how the US was, where they were using collegiate players, they were developing. Once you leave there, you go into their leagues, and then you can play and develop there. I don't know if necessarily that's something I actually should look into more. Because I think they have talented players, but I don't know if Japan is one that. Not to say that they need to sell players, or that they're actively looking to sell players. Some will leave, and there's no doubt they are good enough to do so. But I feel that sometimes they don't need to sell them as much. Think of them as like a healthier version of say like the Mexican approach to football is, right? Where
Oh,
they
okay.
develop them they're a little more locally. And yes, some may leave, some may be successful, but for the most part, they are developed and set up there well. On the men's side, I think in Japan, like you're seeing some of more of those dual nats kind of showing up here, where you have like a Zion Suzuki, or there's a try one who's like American Canadian, I mean American, um, something else in Japanese. But like players like that, you'll start to see them. But for the most part, they are domestic built and domestic movement. So I think that would be for me how I look at it, and that'd be my perspective. If anyone else wants to kind of throw that in, feel free. That's kind of how I see it. They've always been good developing, and they were honestly like we look at Japan, we look at that World Cup in 2011 that they had, right? They weren't the first team to write the book on how to beat the North American style of just bigger athletes and passing through them, but they certainly were the highest profilers of it. And so they built it. They were the most high profile doing it. I think Spain was always coming. They just weren't able to maybe put it together at the world stage. But then when they finally put everything together, my one mate always says, like, honestly, when they finally realize, hey, we can just apply the things that we've learned on the men's side to the women's side and actually properly apply them, it changed the game. And I think that's what happened with Spain. But I think Japan always was that way. Those World Cups on the men's side they hosted, that really did a lot. And then, I mean, China World Cup was a big one for them as well. So,
Ooh, poor
yep,
Bakpa.
I do agree. It is. It is. I feel like we haven't said hi to a lot of people. Stopped by, but as we are going through, I do apologize. Jason stopped by. Glad you did. Conrad Smith was here as well. Chris Smith was here as well. Sam Bowen was here as well. Sherman Scott, Chris Smith again. Thank you guys. Truly appreciate stopping by. The goal kick coming up for Korean and tag on for this. But I think it's kind of the game that I was expecting. Both teams, well, not expecting, but once you saw the first minute, both sides were just give me a goal so we can sit back and counter. And
Yeah, and both teams working on things. North Korea looked a little bit sharper, but Japan does not look far behind.
no, they
What
do.
I just saw is North Korea. Sometimes, if you put it over the top,
Mm,
they could be a little bit stagnant for a few seconds. So based off that, if you can try and get the first ball, you
mm,
might just have a break inside behind them because it just happened to for Japan, but they cleared it. Not even recognize that Japan has two players in behind the midfielder and gave it straight to Japan. So that's a tough ball to give away. So yeah, I am seeing openings in both teams.
mm. And
Early throw. Okay. Oh, why? That's the only thing I don't like. They got dropping on the floor too easily for these two specific teams. Come on, man.
Yeah,
You got a touch, just let it slide, you know?
I think, but then you're also dealing with two sides that know each other well, so they're trying to get any advantage they can get here. But I do agree. I do agree though. I don't like it, but there's a degree where it's just when you know yourselves that well, you might as well try to use every advantage that you can. Alrighty, there we go. Moving here.
Oh, if you're just if you're just pressing, that
Mm.
would have been a free goal. But okay, referee bail them out. Okay, it's just refreshing watching these teams.
It's been a
They're
good
good, man.
tournament overall, though, right? I mean, there've been some lopsided games here and there, but it's been a good tournament overall. The
Agreed,
football has
agreed,
been nice.
agreed. And it shows us that the next level of players then coming through. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I don't know
they
how the smaller nations will catch up with them.
that will be the fact. Especially when you add in a North Korea that are back, it's like, oh well, there goes a spot. There goes like a Philippine. Not to say that they would go, but like if North Korea decides to bring back their women's program, think of like the Philippines that you saw at the last World Cup. Just think of those sides. There's another side that you don't get that story with, but it's going to be fascinating to kind of watch and see where it goes through. So I'm very much curious to see if they decide to come through, what happens. Ooh, looks like we.
Yeah, yeah. Korea trying to carve out Japan, but Japan sitting a little bit deep and working their way out of the high press system. And I'm not gonna give up on them. Yeah, they look crafty. They can get out of this press and cause problems. All right,
They,
wonderful.
they certainly look like they have the passing to do it. They've looked confident.
Ah, that could be a red card. Oh no, she never stayed down because that if she slipped just a while ago. Oh my God! Let me see that replay. It's a slide challenge.
Yeah, I could see why you would say that, but I wouldn't give it for me a
No, no,
yellow.
no. It's
Yeah,
just in real time. I saw it in real time, and but I agree when I saw it. I have not seen the replay yet, so let me see. Yeah, the break here coming from Korea inside the box.
mhm.
Yes, just try to whip it across. Don't go on the floor. the way they maneuver to keep the football is not normal.
It's so relaxing. Some leagues you watch, you're just like, so it's a relaxing seat.
Ooh, good up onto the beats on these two. She's gone. Oh, 1-0.
Hmm.
Yeah, your girl got the goal.
Hey, coach, son. Ah, feels good.
Hold on, it looked like it took a deflection. It looked like it took a deflection. Let's see. Okay, number six has to look deep into herself. Oh, did he take? No, hold on. Let me see here now. Good.
So at this point, she's winning the
And,
Golden Boot race.
hold on. To me, yeah. It can't be registered as an own goal, but it is a own goal.
It deflect. That to me is one that
But because
one of those yeah.
it's on
Yeah.
target has to be registered as her goal. But she
Mhm.
edited it.
Ah,
Oh, how can you hit a ball like that, Africans? Your
I
goal is behind you. Any touch you're touching it, you have. Or maybe she was trying to put it. She was trying to attempt. What about?
kind of
But I don't even know. I don't
JD,
know.
your action was a little bit suspect. It was like, oh, she tried to attempt. It was like, oh no, he's saying the hand of God. No, he's saying the hand of God. No, 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 that did not happen. But
All
yeah,
right, Japan trying to get something from it.
moving.
With 1-2 here, triple, and that's good for Korea. It's gonna be outside. African's team got one goal, so maybe he's gonna finally win.
A win. It's been a tough run for wins for me. Okay, I I have three good wins at the Olympics for the Canadian women. I have the Canadian men beating
USA,
the USA.
he got a good draw as well.
Yeah, a good draw there. Those are my wins. Okay, okay. More recently, those are my wins. Okay,
Yeah.
Ghana's given me wins on the off the pitch by which fields can't we use. Those have been wins for some people. But Nigeria's winning games, and I must stand here. Gambia won a game, and I must sit here. Kenya's doing well. I must sit here.
Next window it's gonna be much better, much better.
I know, I know. The leaves will fall here, so at least something else will cushion my fall when I fall from my seat. As another we next window, JD, they play their former coach in Sudan. Oh,
So
enough about my sorrows and my worries, guys. Japan playing, trying to get back in this game, but Korea can finally sit back and play in that
good break
counter.
here. Come down the right hand side, she's gonna move it in. That's a poor cross though, terrible cross. Korea, but Korea they're working very hard.
That they are. This almost feels like a game where if Japan doesn't get some footing in this game, and then not to say it's been this dominant, it hasn't been this
Mm-hmm.
dominant, but if Japan doesn't get something in this game soon, I don't know if they're coming back from 2-0.
Yeah. I think 2-0 would be very tough. You, oh, these no, this is gonna be a card. The backway
Mm,
challenges,
yeah,
nothing. She don't give any card. Okay.
consistency, she says.
Yeah. I think that should have been a yellow card. What? But they are trying to close them down. They are trying to close them down. Um,
Yeah,
in the middle of the park, but Japan kind of swift, just the same. Good interception here. So you have to penalize the team when they go in the back of the player. You have to,
I agree
because
with that.
that should be the incentive that a team trying to play out.
Yeah. Hmm.
But if we give it in favor of the team that's already killing them,
At that point, what do you do? As a referee, you're like,
just
well,
just lose the ball to concede. Oh my days!
at that point, the ref's just saying, "What do you want me to do?" It's like, well, something. We want you to do something.
All right, a free kick coming up.
Yes, but I'm liking this first half so far.
Yeah, you would
Not
have.
not just because my team is winning, but I'm liking this first
No,
half so far.
I never said that. I said you would have
I
because
listen.
your team is.
I can hear the questions and the comments you're gonna make, JD. I can hear them. Okay.
You would have.
North Korea moving the ball well, but yes, good flow of this game, guys. Good flow in this game. My FIFA Plus stream just went down, so I am
Yeah.
yeah, but
I
it's
have
okay.
this on my phone here. It's working.
Okay. Well, I'm
Um.
well, you know my Canadian internet is very
Yeah,
inconsistent.
yeah, yeah. But I've not already complained about it for the longest time, so I thought it was very good at this point.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the internet is filled with Arsenal content. Oh my God. They're saying Manchester City was celebrating a draw and so scared of them.
Look, I'm just happy Olivia Smith got her debut for Liverpool for the women today. I am very much there. Okay, I am picking my spots. Okay, Wolves played a good 20 minutes, so I'm glad for that too. Darwin decided that he can miss but also score against us, so thanks a lot, Darwin. I appreciate that. And yeah, so if anyone wants to tell me if Preston North End is the team to beat in the championship next year, I'd like to know that because I think my Wolves are going. I think my Wolves are
Preston,
going.
no, they are better, man. Even I what this morning I was talking to my aunt, because
Mm,
normally she support Aston Villa and West Brom,
yep.
but she was talking about them, and she was actually talking about the policies from Wolves.
Okay.
Did they just want to make too much money? I don't know what they're doing with the money. Every single year you make like 300 plus million. You sell 150 plus million players, then you call it 125 more million. And then you try to convince people that you're going to do better next year. I don't know how fans can keep on buying tickets.
Hey, look, man. Some people grew up there. I'm new to the bandwagon, so for me, I'm just like, ooh, it's gonna be a rough one. But hey, we sold all our Portuguese players, or most of them, and then we just replaced them with Brazilians. So it's gonna be worth. We're just flipping things. Wolves are those people who flip houses. They buy them, try to make them look good for a year, and then flip them real quick. And then get as long as we stay in the Prem, we can keep doing it. But the problem is, as long as we stay in the Prem. So minor detail, minor major detail.
I think they should still stay in there though. But it's gonna be tough. It's going to be tough though. But just the basis of they played football, the players that they have still left, I think that they can get it done. But it's gonna be very tight. Maybe like maximum 5 points ahead of the drop.
I mean, at some point, Everton is going to be punished for playing with fire like this, right? At some point, they will be, right? No, they won't. They just keep getting away with it, and so part of me thinks I think they'll get it done also, but this will be the most stress-filled season I've had with them. So let's. I am. I am hoping for the best, but expecting the worst.
Yeah, they will get you.
Indeed, indeed. But
I
guys, if
still
you are
saw them score more goals than other. We continue the
oh
game.
no, just keep. I mean, their performances have been encouraging. Those 20 minutes, I appreciated. I appreciate those 20 to 30 minutes where we were up. It was a good feeling. I thought to myself, see, you don't need to be so down on them. And then Darwin said, "I'll hit a post and still score." And I was like, "Thanks, thanks a lot." But yeah, it will be good. It'll be good. So, guys, if you're just dropping by, just touch the like button. That's all I ask. If you, I can't ask you for money, and I won't. But just touch the like button so I know you were here, and leave your predictions as well. We're watching this game, North Korea versus Japan, the women's under 20 finals. North Korea is up 1-0 with a goal from now the Golden Boot leader. I've just forgotten her name. I had the name here. Ah, I'm coming back. Getting this name.
Oh, can she keep it? Think he's gonna get outside? Yes, he's gonna get outside. And Japan almost had a chance, but the she couldn't catch it.
Yep. Do you think for Japan going more direct, so more long balls might give them a better chance versus trying to pass through? Or do you think they've built enough depth to really try to pass through this? Or
Yeah,
not that they've built depth, but that they're playing at a depth enough that they can stretch them out a little bit.
I think what they're doing when they're not necessarily trying to pass through, they're trying to mix the combination, but they're trying to go through the first line of the block,
Mm.
so they can expose the defenders and then try to put it a little bit longer over the top. But they're not trying at the start, because what the defenders would do is just drop back and stop the problem. But if you
Yeah.
work things out, draw them out of their position and then put it over the top, it's much better.
Mhm.
That's what City should have done to Arsenal today and score 15 goals.
Yeah, but they hit 15 posts and didn't score
Yes,
15 goals.
yes,
So
yes.
tough life.
Well, I heard people saying that Arsenal was the better team on the day.
Look, I didn't fully watch this game, so I'm not gonna make any comments. But what I will say is, I,
Africans, the game stopped at 45 minutes.
yeah, exactly. You can't really judge that game because when the French see yellow, everyone is confused. But if you're Belgium, no one really cares. But I think based off of that first half, I it's hard to really say because City looked good for the first part of the first half, and then Arsenal were
Arsenal played a solid, good game for 15 minutes in the entire game, and then defended for the next half. They never had no intention to go forward.
of course they
Um,
didn't preserve the win.
yeah, this is the stats. 33 shots to five, two big chances to three, and not because it's two big chances. Raya was the man of the match. I'm not asking you. He was the man of the match. So that tells you the amount of saves he pulls off. Obviously, City could have done better, as what we have said, like what Japan tried to do here to bring them in. But Arsenal wouldn't have come out just the same. So I don't think nothing changes. Once it went on to the red card, it was done.
Mhm. That the game felt more inevitable at that point than a game, and it took us some time to get there. All credit for 10 in the box, but it was they did what they but that game ended in the first half. I do agree.
Yeah, because remember, it's a club of standard. Oh, yeah, it's a club of standard. So what the standard does, the standard make it tougher for a team to come out and just play.
Yes.
To whatever the strength is. You have to keep this level up because you're taking people money to buy jersey and all of those things. That's why I'm telling people football that you have to factor a lot of things in football. So they can't just go to Arsenal and sit or to City and sit back like Brentford, then counter attack. Obviously, Brentford never did that at this time. They went
Yeah.
on the front foot. They were way more action packed than Arsenal. That's one thing I could say. Even when Arsenal was leading, Brentford created more, and their intention was very clear. In the first 6 minutes, Brentford was on top of Arsenal. Yeah, yeah.
Agreed, agreed. So there we go. Goals are coming in.
All right. So what? 11:30 now.
Yeah.
At half
Oh,
time, I
yeah,
will run
halftime.
out because because I have to get up
That is fair. That is more than
six
fair.
o'clock. And I'm up from 4 o'clock this morning.
I saw that.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I had played some football yesterday, man, and I'm telling you, look like I have a slight hamstring problem, but not tear or anything, but maybe it's sore because you just started to play back.
Yeah,
This is my second time playing for the month. So maybe when I'm on my fourth, fifth, then I can feel a little bit more comfortable, you know. But yeah, give me a little problem. So I want to make sure I get enough rest. I can't be walking up and down for the entire day, every day. All right, the next break come in. Oh,
yeah.
she shoot it right there. And she go for a shot right there. No, that never had any chance to score.
But actually looking good.
I agree with that. It show is something, Japan. You can't. You have to show something. You have to get a shot off, so the mid defenders can drop back because the defenders comfortable.
Yes.
Wonderful interception here. Work it forward. Wonderful. Through the middle here. Oh, love. She's gonna strike it. Okay. Yeah, that's much better. That's much better. Get
Mhm.
some touches to it.
No, that's true. But yeah, they need to grow into this game. If not, they're just it's not going to end. One more goal here, and they if it gets to 2-0, it ends 5-0, in my opinion, because they'll get just opened up. But we need a little bit more from Japan coming through. But so far, FIFA stats have this as what's the thing? 3 shots on target for North Korea, none for Japan at this point.
None on target or none, no shot.
No shots on target.
Okay, on target because and they do have shots, because they're getting a few shots.
Oh
FIFA
yeah,
tend to be very wrong at all times, which is sad.
what?
Yeah, I don't know
Never.
what happened. No, they have been wrong, man. They have been wrong, man. Sometimes you have to wait until maybe an hour or so before they finished the uploading
Yeah,
stats, which that's not fair.
it's
I'm
not
not
good.
gonna do an hour extra live stream to get the final stats.
You
So
have to wait that long. No, that's true. And
the
it's like,
respect that they showed Nigeria, and the other teams are very very bad. My next break here coming. Yeah, because I was doing the Nigeria video, and that's when I saw that we had to wait. I'm saying,
mm,
damn, good cross there.
mm, good one.
Get it to half time, so tomorrow I can wake up and see that you scraped it to a next 1-1, then try to get it to penalty.
I'm not allowed to go to
This
sleep at this point because
is
once I go to sleep, Japan will score 3, and then I'll be like, well, I slept. If you
uh,
see it come back like this, JD, I'll let you know. I went to bed.
they're trying to get the second. Oh, I think that's a poor shot for the opening that you got.
Yeah,
Look, yes. Deflection took it inside. Oh, she had to snapshot it. So She couldn't get any power on it at all. But they're getting chances. They're trying to close down Japan. Press a little bit, man. Stop letting them turn on you. And then start a counter.
I think
Okay,
you're
good interception.
a side that is just more that are both comfortable against each other. So they're not that they're apprehensive, but it's just let you make your move first. They're almost playing more reactive than they are trying to be proactive
Agreed,
with the ball.
agreed. Yeah, agreed. Bec- Because just a while ago, she let her control the ball. There is
Yeah.
no way two players should be on any pitch. Okay, they've been forced into Ayama came off
Mm,
for Sasai.
okay. That
Yeah.
is that is an interesting. Yeah. So Hayama off for Sasai coming in. Sasai typically
Maybe it's an injury.
it could be actually. Wait, let me take a look at your. So yeah, are you just adding another player to come in because Sasai is a nine typically. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe they're trying to invite her to push inside and be more of a wing forward, or they're just not liking the distribution that's coming off the end so far. It's not early for the move, but it's certainly something to kind of give you a spark before the
Mm-hmm.
halftime whistle comes in. So I don't mind the choice, but Sasai, let's see, pull you up here. Yeah, Sasai with 3 goals. They're looking for goals. They need goals. Sasai is tied for
Poor pass out there.
yeah.
Curry has some poor pass out. Got the good block, but what they can do, Africans. The keeper should reach this though.
Mhm,
As I've said, that part, my first description of the play of how poor they are from the back pass, the ones that they're gonna feel comfortable to pass it out. You
mhm.
can just stand there, close them down, and they're gonna give the ball straight to you. That's the only error I do see in the um North Korea team.
Mm, that's right.
So just try win the first recovery play every single time because they're not going to try and go long. Majority of the times they're going to try and do it short, and they are not accurate doing so because for the entire 38 minutes they have been looking vulnerable trying to pass it out from the back.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They've looked vulnerable trying to pass from the back, but they just haven't been. No one's punished them for it,
Yeah.
and maybe that's too much respect from Japan because they don't want to get overpassed. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a half press in there there that is waiting that could turn this game, and maybe it rattles them because that's the thing. They haven't had that game where they look uncomfortable for long stretches yet. They had some moments against the US, like when the US was trying to push, but for the most part, they haven't really looked rattled yet. And maybe it comes here, but this side is a side that they've have good results against. So maybe it just doesn't happen here. We kind of work from there. But
Okay. Good flick. Hold on to it. Oh. All right, so throw in. They are already prepared to
It's
go down.
okay.
Yeah.
Get your rest, JD. It's all good. I'll hold it down until someone scores. But no, yeah, Sasai is another nine. So they're pushing to put two nines up there to put some sort of pressure there, which means maybe they're shifting more to a 4-4-2. Um,
Yeah.
in it, like if her heat map for the tournament has pretty much been left side, but then left side of the box. So maybe they're just trying to encourage more of that action coming in. But she is a nine through and through. So I think that's where you're at.
Yeah, 41 minutes, 41 minutes. Well, survive until half time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
All you
the
can do,
corner
bro.
coming up. Hold on, they're gonna get a corner. Three corners for them so far.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you letting them? Why? And then you're not marking the kicks good enough. You're giving them the kicks and not marking the kicks them good enough. This looks like Africans will be winning today.
I don't even want to. I don't want a crown for this. I just need it to be right.
You need a yes, you need a win, yeah. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. I had said I'm gonna stay till halftime. No problem, man. I was just making sure you're okay. So if you said you're okay, I will just run and pick up tomorrow.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So no problem. Then we will link up tomorrow. Then yeah.
Yes.
All
All right.
right.
Take
Cool.
care of
Yeah.
yourself.
Take care, people. I'm going to
Yep.
get some sleep because I have to get up early in the morning again.
And there we will be, guys. So that was JD. I'm actually nice. Y'all know him well. But here we're just gonna keep a track with this. Again, this is a game where I think Japan really has to grow into this game. If not, they do. I think if this game gets 2-0 for North Korea, you risk basically saying this game is done. Because I think then North Korea can really sit back, and then on the counter, they'll really punish them moving in. But yeah, guys, as we're watching the live action kind of scroll through, let me know some of the things you liked about this tournament. If not, Art, we'll just have a conversation overall, just all things youth football and the likes, and we'll kind of run from there. But we are currently sitting in the 42nd minute, 43rd minute, 1-0 for North Korea. Cho Ruan with the goal in the 15th minute, or Chon Sun coming in for the minute. So I think they are playing well, but this North Korean side haven't looked. I'll put it this way: I feel like this North Korean side have looked good, but they haven't looked dominant yet. And I think if Japan tweaked maybe not a full press of the back line, but just making them uncomfortable, they might open up some opportunities to Kevin the score. But we're nearly at halftime, guys, and we'll go through some of the stats that we have for those games coming through. Let us know who stood out, and then we'll just have general conversations as we move through. So if you are stopping by, guys, just again, just touch the like button to let me know you were here, and then just leave a comment here, just let me know so I know you were here, and then kind of give me your predictions to go. We get the score scrolling down through there. That is it, and that is where we are. 1-0 heading into halftime, but not quite at halftime. So guys, make sure you guys stick with there. So North Korea again up 1-0. Japan, I think North Korea have been good, but they haven't been fully dominant. I think Japan could make them uncomfortable, but how much it's the risk and reward of a team that is chasing the equalizer versus a team that's sitting back trying to expose on the counter. So that cat and mouse game is going on here. But you have a clearance coming up from Japan. Ball back up to Cho Son on the outside, looking to move it into the middle. We'll kind of see what can develop here. Nope. Going to try to reset everything back there, back into the midfield, moving the ball out wide. We continue and we look and we enjoy. But we will go and see. Here we go again. Up into, looks like we're going to get 1 additional minute of additional time. So we're going to go to the 46 minutes roughly of time in this first half. That's what it's looking like. And we go. Oh, looks like we have a little bit of a freeze here. We'll kind of jump back here and recalibrate our old friend. Going into those halftime minutes. We'll get that screen back up for you guys in a moment. As we go there, and as time's kind of flowing through, nearly at that minute mark, and we'll go through the substitutions, anything that's gone through. But again, North Korea up 1-0, and looking to see what we can kind of develop and see what will happen in that half. Thankfully, oh, looks like, oh, nope, that's just an old stream. Alrighty, righty. And we have hit halftime. And that's we're going to use FIFA's website here, guys, for stats. So if they are wrong, blame it on the FIFA. I do apologize. And we are going to go from there. Here we go. All right. So, stats according to FIFA, we have shot, 1 goal conceded for Japan, 1 goal scored for North Korea. We knew that. We have 6 attempts for North Korea versus 3 for Japan, 4 on target, 2 off targets, and probably a few more blocked. Nothing outside the penalty is being shown as of yet. Fouls against are 4-3. Japan with 4 fouls, Korea with 3. We're going to distribution, passes going. We'll pass this because this really won't be updated till after the game is done. Corners conceded, set pieces. That is the interesting aspect. 4 corners for North Korea, and then 3 set free kicks for Japan, but then 4 for North Korea. And this is where we stand currently with the game. Now, interestingly enough, kind of go over here to Sofa Score to give you guys a bit of this here. Change in the 37th minute. Hayama out for Sasai in. Now, Sasai has 3 goals in this tournament. And if you look at her, typically what her heat map would have been, actually, I'll just throw her up here so you guys have a bit of the profile of the player. For the most part, left side going into the middle, she is second in the team with goals, with 3 goals. And seeing that her profile is more of a striker than anything, you are looking to add someone else. And so in that 4-2-3-1 that you saw her playing, that you see Japan playing, now this could easily be shifting into a 4-4-2, where then you leave that, and then that could easily shift into a 4-2-4, where you're just pushing out on the wide ends with the wide players. And then you have 2 strikers in the middle, and then probably leaving, yeah, and then you would leave Koyama, then Oyama in the middle, maybe letting them inch forward to kind of add that attack to really counter against North Korea, who are very much content sitting the counter, looking to push the ball forward. So I think for them, and I didn't show you guys any of that, I do apologize. So here we are here. So 37th minute, we saw the move for Sahai to from Hayama, and as I was saying, I think this shifts into a 4-4-2 eventually. I think, and then in attack, you either push over Koyama or Oyama in, so you have them with that 4-1-5 basically attacking against a Korean side who are just comfortable sitting in as the counter and the kind of move with that. So I think for them that would be it. Korea have been the better side, but I don't think they've looked so dominant as of yet. I think if you did add a little bit of pressure into them, now that's a risk and reward. If that pressure gets bypassed with passing, whether a solid pass over the top are passing through, you leave yourself vulnerable on that counter. But I think if you're Japan, you're being a little bit cautious, but you have nothing to really lose. You have to try to go and get a result in this game. So that's kind of how I would look at it, how I want them to move forward. But you kind of go either way. And again, to run through those FIFA stats again, as it is currently sitting, we have our last statistics: one goal here, according to FIFA, 6 goals or 6 shots on target, 4 on, 2 off, 2 shots on, and probably 1 blocked for Japan. We won't get into that, but the set pieces, Korea's definitely been the better of the sides, there's no doubt. But then 4 free kicks to 3, probably looking at more of the fouling that's happening. As we had said earlier, again, I think with the change to Sahai from Hayama, I think you're opening yourself up to push more players into the attacking area. And because she's more into that space, that would work. Now with Hijikata, I do apologize. Looking at what her heat map is, again, much more central. So we add that with Sasai more so in this area on the left. Let's go to here. So when you move, so Hijikata, who is the 9 for Japan, her areas are primarily up here, top of the 18, moving out, but these that's where she's most hottest. I think when you add in a player like Sasai, her heat map is more so up on the left hand side. So I think giving another player who can kind of cut in and occupy that space does open up some possibilities for what they could do. They're chasing and trying to get a goal here. So I think that's not a bad. So shifting that to a 4-4-2 probably would be the ideal setup for what they're trying to do. But then ultimately we kind of wait and see. We kind of look to see what's working and what's going. But guys, thank you for all of you who are here. Thank you for all of you who are watching. I do appreciate the love and support. But again, if you're here, just touch the like button. Let me know if you are still here. And guys, if you haven't, you like this type of content, we're gonna get into more watch alongs just because that is the reality of the game. I do enjoy them, just haven't done them as often. We did a lot of the African qualifiers for the World Cup back in 2022, 21, 22, but we haven't jumped into it as of yet. So we're gonna try to get back into them as the year rounds out and as we move forward into it. So I'm looking forward. You guys will see more of me. It may not just be me, which is always the exciting part of it. But we'll kind of work through and we'll enjoy it and we'll have fun. But guys, whenever you're in, leave a question, leave a comment. Always up to it. Even if we're just talking all things, if we're just talking all things footy, we had a good conversation. We had JD from the IMAX and WeMax channel who was just around talking all things youth development and kind of what's working, what's not. Talking a little bit about the NWSL, how it's looked, and also just what would you do in the event of youth development on the women's side, right? The women's side doesn't officially have that U23 setup. It's one that I think I've been a proponent of just because it gives more players that space where they can continue their development. The women's game is so new that you can't use the conventional rules of men's football for it, but it does open the doors for some possibilities in terms of what you can do differently, but things you can borrow from it as well. So I'm very much curious to kind of talk about that. We talked about that as well. So if you want to swing back in and have a quick talk or have a quick view of what kind of worked, we feel free to have that, come back into it, jump back in. But yeah, we'll be here. We'll see out the end of this game. We're going to enjoy it. Guys, let us know who your predictions are to win. Also, just let us know what you liked about this tournament so far. I've loved it. The football has been nice. It's been enjoyable. Really have been enjoying it. And so for me, we continue on, we watch. But we are at halftime. North Korea is up 1-0, and we are enjoying it one moment at a time. And one moment at a time is the enjoyable part of it. Indeed, indubitably, indeed. Last winner of this tournament was Spain, who won it back in 2022. Their Spanish revolution of football was nice. Before that, we had Japan. But actually, let's throw up all of these games here. Kind of throw it up here and have those conversations as to what has worked and what hasn't. Where is my chart? So at halftime, there it is. Yeah, the last winners of this U20 tournament, you have Spain in 2022, Japan in 2018, North Korea in 2016, who also won in 2006. Germany won in 14, oh 04, and 10. And then the United States won it in 2002, 2008, and 2012. And so, solid side, no doubt about it. And we're going to have another repeat winner. It is interesting to see kind of what happens here, especially on a standpoint of if North Korea re-enters the international space, especially for football. They were a solid side. They were a solid side, definitely. So if you add them into this space all over again, it gets very interesting because let's look at some of the let's pull it up here. Look at these teams here. Uh, let's pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Because of current FIFA rankings, you have top 10 are yeah, North Korea is 9. It's USA, England, Spain, Germany, Sweden, Canada, Japan, Brazil, North Korea, then France. And if we look at the AFC, Japan, China, like the Philippines made it in off an amazing run, but I don't know if they make it in if you had excuse me, a Korea to that. It just fascinates and it makes this whole federation a lot more interesting and more fascinating because now it's another solid side. It's- we won't speak about the politics of it, but it's another solid side. And I think if they come back to it, it does open the doors for a fascinating 2027, which is a few years away. But yeah, do we even know who's hosting? I mean, we're assuming we know who's hosting, but I don't think they've had that announcement, have they? I don't think so. But we continue and we go and we grow and we flow. We're still in halftime, guys. So I am going to step aside because the allergies are certainly flowing. So we're going to step aside real quick. But when you hear my voice again, we'll be going with that second half. And thanks for being here. Hit that like button, and I'll be back in the flash. I hate that I just said that, but we're going to go with it. In 20, and they're hosting, Freddie, they're hosting in 2027. So it is Brazil's World. Okay. Let me actually, before I go, let me confirm that. Okay, Freddie, thank you for coming in clutch there. Freddie Adongo. They're hosting in 2027. Okay. 2027. Yeah, because everyone else, it seems like, had dropped out for the bidding. Yeah, so voting happened and they are hosting. Oh, I did know that. Why did I forget that? Okay. Ooh, so they're just going to use some of the old infrastructure of. Yeah, they're going to use some of the old infrastructure from the Men's World Cup in 2016 and then the Olympics as well. But yes, the slots are 6 slots for Asia, 4 for Africa, 4 for CONCACAF, three three slots for interesting. 11 slots for Europe, 1 slot for Oceania, and then 3 slots for South America, including host Brazil. Ooh, I don't like that. I think one of the spots, honestly, I think one of the slots should always come from Europe. The host, but that's just, I don't think you need 11 European countries, but that's just me. Okay. So then that's gets to the intercontinental playoff is 3 spots. You get 2 slots from CAF, 2 slots from Asia, CONCACAF gets 2 slots, CONMEBOL gets 2 slots, Oceania gets 1 slot, and then UEFA gets 1 slot. So really, okay, that's kind of where we are. So this is the setup. The hosts are there. Runners up in that year. Okay. All right. Thank you, Freddie. I have appreciated that information. Really have. Okay. I am going to quickly deal with this real quick and I will be right back, guys. Thank you again for being here. Touch the like button. Let me know who's going to win this. This is the score, and we'll go from where we go from there. All right. Be back in a minute. And we are back, guys. Sorry about that delay. 5 minutes into that half. Let's get this display up and showing and going. So we are here into the second half, still 1-0 for the North Koreans. No changes at halftime. We are still rocking the same 11 for both. Just to change again, Sasai coming in for Hayama. So probably shifting a little bit more to having two nines available to really put some pressure and to get some movement going for Japan. Ball moved in, recovered by North Korea. We're just going to follow the play-by-play here and go on a throw in for Japan in the attacking portion of their game. Ball goes in. We continue to flow through, and we'll go here. This is fine. And another throw in coming in for Japan. Another throw in for Japan. So again, thank you, Freddie, for that information on hosting the World Cup on the women's side, and then Chris Cordenith. Always a pleasure to have you guys here. Enjoy that. So again, we got a pass coming in the middle from Sasai coming in, looking to create some opportunities, looking for something to come through. But it looks like we're freezing. Looks like we're freezing. Looks like we froze here on our watch here. So guys, bear with us here. We'll switch to here as the time's going through. 53rd minute, still the same score line as we had before. See, we'll put it in here for our live blog coming in here as we reset that play-by-play here. And another throw in coming for Japan. Japan looking, seemingly pushing the pace here. I think how they're looking, they're certainly looking for that equalizer. We're not sure if they're going to be able to get it here, but I think this North Korean side, as dominant as they've been in this tournament, they haven't played as, they haven't looked as unbeatable. They've looked beatable, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to find a fancy way of putting it, but it is. They are beatable in this game. But they just have to find a way to keep that pressure. But here we have Korea on the counter, looking like they're going to try to create, but looks like that was snuffed out by Japan. And looking to reset and move that ball out. And looks like that's what they're going to do. So we got the ball moving for Japan. They're looking all right, but Japan's looking to put some early pressure here on the North Koreans and see if they have an opportunity to get that equalizer here. But ball taken away. So I think for them, they really need to get this goal. I think if North Korea gets to 2 here, it certainly does open up. But it looks like another shot on, but pass and off. That's what they have to be wary of. That counter is available to them. If Japan's going to push numbers like they have been, the counter is available, and so they have to be very careful about that. Another clearance coming in, and goal kick coming up to Japan. So again, that's the risk that they're playing with. Japan either has to really push forward, and in doing so, they leave themselves culpable to the counter. And that's something I think Korea is sitting and waiting on. So they have to build up and really be fruitful. No turnovers in the midfield because they will be punished. They most certainly will be punished if they turn the ball over in that type of a space. So here we go up with the build up here, looking to pass through. Looks like bypass a few lines. Sasai looking, but that looks like that has been snuffed out. And North Korea looking to build up from the back, passing up, going and looking comfortable just to, take a little bit of the air out of the ball and move it forward, maybe looking for that equalizer, but they have to be a little bit more solid with their passing. But looks like they are building that up. But this is where we are again. 1-0 is the score. We are currently sitting in the 57th minute of the game. Only one change so far. Sasai coming in the 37th minute for Hayama, adding more attacking flair and power for Japan up in that attacking space. Here comes Korea with a throw in the attacking zone. And we continue to go through. There's Japan building back, but still, gotta be mindful. Looks like Korea is starting to push back a little bit, but still Japan being more of the team on the front foot, trying to find those opportunities to move forward. I think a goal is certainly here in this half, but they must be clinical. It seems like I'm just saying simple words, but it's true. Japan with a throw in. Kashimura coming up with Khan. Okay, here we go. Tackle is stopped. Do they now spring the break? Do they spring the break? No, they do not. So we sit there, we look, and we keep on going. But looks like now Japan goes back and are resetting. They're looking all right. They're looking good. But Korea now with the ball moving forward. A couple more passes. If they get it into the middle, they might just spring it out. They might just spring out a nice opportunity. But we have a break in play, and the play resumes. Why, thank you, play by play. I do appreciate your thoroughness. Alrighty, there we are sitting and playing. So again, guys, we are in the 59th minutes of play. Still no changes, but it looks like we may have a change coming. We will wait and confirm that with you when we see it. Again, the goal from Cho Son in the 15th minute, and the only change so far in the game is Sasai coming on for Hayama in the 37th minute for Japan. 1-0 for North Korea as the game progresses, and we move into it as we look. So throwing the FIFA stats up here so you guys can keep an eye on. A few attempts on goal, a few fouls that were there that you all saw. But Japan, though pushing for the goal, have had to make more saves here. Efforts were on goal, efforts were a little bit off, but Japan has had some nice build-up moments, but they just have not been able to put it all together, aka scoring the equalizer, which I think is coming. We have a drop ball, probably an injury coming in, and we'll get you back here as play resumes. And on our play-by-play, our play has resumed. We are in North Korea with the ball passing back, looking to build from the mid, getting the ball up on the right side. This could be an interesting build up here. And another throw in coming from North Korea. North Korea with the throw in. Here we go. Ball in play. Aka with the touch, moving it on towards, and it's out. Japan with the throw in. Nearly 60 minutes of the game, nearly at the hour mark of the game. It's still 1-0. We are in the hour mark of the game, and we're still 1-0 for Korea. When will the changes come? I think you need to make a change soon. If not in this time frame, maybe a little bit later. Maybe the 65th minute is when the changes start to come through. But here comes Korea with a shot. But a chance that is thwarted and goal kick coming in for the Japanese goalkeeper. So here we come with the build-ups. Hi, Yoneda. You have Shiragaki coming in. Kashimura passing it into. Looks like we've made some passes Saw some opportunities, but ball lost and reset back to the goalkeeper. But Son now with the ball, maybe another opportunity at another. They are pushing. By all accounts, North Korea are pushing for the dagger of the goal here, but so far unable to. Korea have been the more dangerous side, and again, this just seems like it's a matchup. Excuse me, that the North Koreans are just more are getting the better of in the transition points and scoring the goal. So far as it stands, we have as it stands right now, because she scored the goal, Cho Son is the Golden Boot winner, meaning probably the bronze and the silver and the bronze boot are going to be going to Hishikata and then Bendito from Japan and Brazil, respectfully. That looks like it's going to be. Hishikata still has the opportunity to leave her mark on this game, but now we have some substitutions coming in. Oh, I do agree. I do agree with you here. Freddie Adongo. North Korea could have killed this game. I do agree. With the chance that they have left this game. This is the type of game where you say if you play with your food long enough, it'll come back to choke you. And so if North Korea, if they don't put this game away, Japan will equalize it, and the North Koreans will have no one to blame but themselves because this is a game with their chances. They should be up at least 2-3 nil at the max, at the minimum to me. And at that point, the game would be done. The game certainly would be done. But that's where we're at, guys. So here we are. Oh, bless up to you as well, Johnny Powell. Appreciate the love and support. So we had a substitution come in. We did have a move that was made. We'll kind of quickly profile this before we go back to that play by play so you guys know what's going on and have an idea of the player. So we're going to be jumping from screen to screen here, guys. Hold on to your horses. Here we go. Okay, so Kum's coming in. Korea make a substitution. Hyang for Kum, Sin Hyang for Jong Kum. And if I've said it wrong, guys, I do apologize. We're living in this world here. Now, based off of what we know of the players, let's pull up that sofa score real quick so we have an idea of where that player finds themselves. All right. So more buys, more people here, but I'm leaving this up here because this is very true. This game should be far more than the 1-0 that it is. But that's where we are currently sitting in the 65th minute. The score is 1 for the North Koreans, 0 for Japan. Japan has had some good build-up moments, but the best chances have all come on the North Korean side. If by the looks of it, they have another goal coming, and the question is, can Japan get it before the game is out of reach? And so that's kind of where we're sitting here. So let's go take a look at this substitution that just happened before we jump quickly back into the game. Son had another effort saved. There we go. So Zhang Kum or Kum, I don't know which whatever, but we will figure that out as we go. They are a player coming off, and according to their sofa score, they are a player again more so on the right side, more dominant in the play. So looking like they're getting players who can track back. You see a little bit more, and we'll show this here for you. Player that came off here for their player. They're a player that finds themselves more so on that right side in the attacking, but coming in through. But mainly this midfield space tells me that they're looking for a little bit of that disruption and that build up for Japan, but then also looking to counter and spring it up. So taking that type of player off could be an interesting decision and scenario moving forward. Let's hop back into the game as we see North Korea building out from the back. We've got a long ball coming up into the middle. Another opportunity. Do they put this on? A header missed again, and goal kick. Korea should be up by multiple goals in this game, but they just aren't being clinical. And this is where we are. And so this game remains 1-0 for the North Koreans, who deservedly are up, but should be up by more. And this is where we find ourselves. And Japan also with a substitution. Amano in for Oyama. Amano in for Oyama. So looking at where Oyama was, there it is, there it is, there it is. So taking off one of their holding midfielders, which is where we are. So just to show where that substitution is, this eight coming out, this eight coming in for Yomano does change. Yeah, they're pushing, they're up just so you have an idea of who this player is. Another central defensive, but someone to disrupt on that. When you bring a player like this, to me, usually it screams you're going to be on an island. Look at her work rate in the middle. Nothing but red in that middle. So you'll be in the island. You are the last. You're the last midfield line of defense. This feels like they're going to start pushing in that lineup for that 4-1-5 or 4-1-4-1 basically, right? Bring on a CDM like that. Either you're getting beat on the counter, you need a line of defense, or someone who can be that line of defense. Think on the male counterpart side, a player like the Bison, Michael Essien, a player like that who you can play that deep, but then you want to also push forward and kind of give those opportunities to play. So we jump back into the game here as Japan starts to build up from the back. Still intercepted and see if North Korea can do anything with this. Moving the ball up, side, another opportunity, another chance, and intercepted. Can they put it away? No, still, and throw in coming in. Just cleared out, trying to survive. This game feels like it has slipped away from Japan for their early moments in the second half. This game feels like it is purely played and being dictated by how North Korea wants to play this game, and it shows. It certainly does show. So here we are building up here. North Korea getting to the edge of the 18. A header that's passed on but stopped, and looks like Japan on moving the ball back out. The counter is there if they move with pace, but North Korea is making it very difficult for them to do so. And as a result, they have to find those opportunities. But again, another attack forwarded by the North Koreans. A reset, but now a deep pass down deep. But uh, there are so many emotions with this game, and I think that's the funny thing with it. You can have so many emotions with this game. You could think Japan have had some moments, but again, as Freddie Adongo has said, and it's true, North Korea should have killed this game, but they are just not clinical. It seems like their clinical chances were all done beating the U.S. and Brazil. Now, as I say this, watch them now just go top bins, top bins, top bins, and say, "What are you talking about?" But for how they played, for how many chances they've generated, they should be up by far more than what they are. And that is where they are. We're in the 70th minute, 30 minutes plus additional time coming up. And the stats are very much what they are. 9 shots so far, 4 on target for North Korea, 4 off target, and 1 blocked. 1 inside the penalty area, but nothing. Right. Fouls against, we're at 5-5, 2 offsides for the North Koreans. Pass distribution, we're starting to get those numbers in. More passes for the Japanese, more passes completed as well, but more crosses completed, more corners, more but less free kicks for North Korea, and we are where we are currently. So here we are. Japan trying to build up, trying to get anything going. If you guys are watching, where you guys all watching from? My stream has been up and down because I've been using my internet and my computer to do so. It's been choppy at best, but let me know where you guys are watching this game from. But here we go. We have a throw in for Japan coming up. So maybe an opportunity to do something. We will see. We will certainly see. Here comes the throw in. Resetting. Too much pressure. Ball back into the middle. All right. Can we find the pass to maybe spring some possibilities? Can we find that pass? Here we go. Looks like we have some possibilities. Chipped over. Shot on target, but bless me. Sorry, guys. Goal kick to the Koreans. Goal kick to the Koreans. And just nothing too dangerous for them. Japan have had some nice build up moments, some nice ideas, but nothing dangerous. The more dangerous side have been the North Koreans. And as a result, they have the lead. And that's kind of where they sit and where they find themselves. Here we go. So on dispossessed, Evan the Villa coming in. We shall see. We shall see. Alrighty. We are currently sitting in the 73rd minute. That plus additional time, we are sitting and waiting on. North Korea still up 1-0. North Korea still up 1-0 with a throw in coming in. There we are, doing all right. And I'm feeling a sneezing smell coming up. So I'm going to take myself out here and clean this up. Apologies. Allergies don't care about me. Game still going. Do we have a goal? 75th minute where we stand. Still 1-0. 76th minute. Still 1-0 for North Korea. Japan trailing. And still that is the score. And build back up, building out. Unbelievable. Japan trying to find an opportunity. 15 minutes plus time, probably 5 to 6 minutes. So probably 20 minutes left for Japan to get something out of this. Probably 20 minutes to get out of this. But another wasted opportunity for Japan. Again, creating some good moments, but not able to really convert, which is really the story of this game. One goal converted, but a lot of those opportunities just have not been found. They've been some have been more creative than others, but nothing on. But here we go, some more substitutions coming in into this game. This is where the moment's happening. Okay, we have many substitutions coming in. Let's take a look at this and let's see what we can quickly see what this means here. Going on the live blog. Looks like we'll wait for these to come in. I know we saw a couple come through. Saw him committed a foul here. So I'll wait for these to come through and we'll kind of talk about what it means. All right, all right. So as we do so, game's still flowing, game's still looking. Still Japan building, trying to build something here, but unable to put it through and really get it to be converted. Here we go. Throw into Korea, where they are. North Korea with the throw in going in, intercepted. Foul commit, another throw in coming through. And ball recovered. Back by Japan. Build up starting. Tie. It's getting late early out here. It's getting late early out here for the U20 team from Japan. They need to get some sustained pressure coming and not having no wasted opportunities here. They don't have that many more options. Here we go. More build up and goal kick. Wasted deep pass. We're in the 79th minutes of the game. Still 1-0 for the North Koreans. Let's take a look at some of these substitutions that came in. All for Japan. Japan went all out here. So Matsunaga coming in. Wait. Okay. The same thing twice. So yeah. So that's wrong. Apologies. Tsunoda coming in and Hayashi coming in. Sakai coming off, as well as Matsushinga coming off, or Matsunaga coming off. Looks like we have this fixed. There we go. So Matsunaga coming off, and then Sasaki coming off. Those are the players, and that just looks more attacking. More players throwing into the attack. One more substitution left, I believe, for one more substitution left for Japan. That's what's looking like. And do we have anything? Nothing. Still third passing. Deep pass coming through. Can North Korea put the game away here? Will they put it away here? Ball and thwarted. Opportunity thwarted. And now they start to push it and try to create opportunities. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right. North Korea intercepting and thwarting. Will they build off of this? Waiting to see as we build up. But a free kick to Japan. So foul committed and such. We'll see what develops from here. Ball out wide. Are we playing the corner game or are we playing all right? Ball thrown out. Throw in for North Korea. At this point, North Korea should have put this game away. But Japan's still alive. Maybe the substitutes can come in and create an opportunity for themselves. We'll see what develops. We'll go and we'll see what develops. But as we currently stand, we are in the 81st minute, going to the 82nd minute. We are waiting to see what develops, what opportunities are here. Probably 9 minutes, probably about 15 minutes left in this game, based off what I assume will be in the additional time. So 15 minutes is what I'm assuming will come. Pass up front. Do we have a free kick coming in? Free kick coming in for Japan. All right, Japan still not out of it. Building from the back. Let's see what they're able to do. Moving the ball forward. Ball into the midfield. Here we are. Let's get on one accord. Japan with the throw in. Japan with the throw in coming through. This is going to be a tense 12 to 13 minutes, I say. We are in the 83rd minute here. Here we go. Here we go. 83rd minute. All right, Japan building from the midfield, from their midfield, looking to see what they can find. Korea making it a little bit difficult. Forcing the pass backs is enough pressure there. And this is the thing. If Japan could have given this type of pressure to Korea, I think they would have had a few better chances. Maybe they just haven't been able to sustain it. But here we go with the buildup coming in. Midfield, ball in. Is there a pass that creates possibilities? Ball out wide, looking for a cross, looking for a cross. Ball's play inside, intercepted, back out. Opportunity cleared. Ball shot, saved by the goalkeeper. Is this the moment? Ah, it is not the moment. Could have been the moment. It was not the moment. Probably offsides. But you look at that. Yes, the clever injury. Tactical sub. Let's go tactical sub, boys and girls. Tactical sub. Tactical injury. That's certainly going to add some time. That for sure is going to add some time to this game. Yeah, it's definitely going to add some time to this game. You can't like at this point in the game, you can't. They're not going to let you just kill it off like this. This is not the time to grab for your ankles. And I'm hoping the player as well, but this is this just adds to it. I said we had 12. We're definitely back up to 15. 85th minute. We're definitely going what 7 minutes now. So what we're at 11 minutes. Feels about right. 11 minutes. Here we go. Here we go. There's Japan with the ball, seeing what they can create. Society looking, and this is this the counter that ends the game? Nope. Done. Intercepted. Resetting, taking air out, and is this all right? Cleared. Just cleared. Just cleared. Japan really, if they look at this game, they were not. They lacked the bites in this game. And while North Korea certainly had the bite, they certainly lacked the utensils because they had a plate of food that they wasted. That's how I would put it. The amount of waste that they left just didn't finish chances. That's the best way to put it. And now substitutions to see out the game, more defensive help coming in As it stands, guys, looks like Korea is going to take home another U20 FIFA Women's Championship, barring Japan doing what they've not been able to do all game, which is get the ball past the goalkeeper in the box. They've created goal kicks, but they haven't created goals. Here we go, Japan with the throw in. Ball moved out. North Korea just take it down the sideline. You have nope, not going to do that. All right, and throw in for Japan. It's getting late, very early out here. It's getting late early. Break and play. I'm assuming another. Here we go. Here we go. It's time left here, guys. We are in the 87th minute of this game. Still 1-0. I'm guessing 5 to 7 additional minutes in this game. Another injury. Again, I hope the players well, but if you're simulating any of these people, why must we do this? Play resumes. Throw in for Japan. Here we go. And North Korea just take it down the sideline. Free kick, throw in to Japan. They're playing with their food. They are playing with their food, and Japan just doesn't have utensils. Defending. Sasai with the ball still at the edge, looking for an opportunity. Just just clear the ball if you're Korea. And if you're not Korea, just go. But ball in the midfield still, ball in the midfield still. Okay, all right. Top of the 18, tackle that's cleared. Ryong, can you do something? Can they just get it to the corner? Nope, can't get deep enough. Can't get deep enough. Here we go. Korea with the ball, midfield lost. 89th minute. 89th minute. We are in the 90th minute and we're waiting to see how much additional time we will have. Oh, let the stress begin. All right. Can almost beat on the counter. Almost stung on the counter, but they get the ball back. Are they icing the game here? No, they are not. Sasai gets it. Young gets the ball back. Still clear, but North Korea now looking like they're trying to pin them in, giving them not many options to move the ball through, but they get it to the middle. Looks like they're opening things up. Looks like no, North Korea is now they're saying you won't get the ah North Korea just now. Okay, now they're playing. They have the ball. Just put the game away, guys. They have it now. Just put the ball. Just put the game away, guys. Ladies, you have this. We have a minute that's going through so far. No time has been given as of yet. Waiting to see that. Waiting to see this. I mean, I'm not really stressed about it, but we're out here living this life. We're out here living this life. Come on now. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we have for additional time. 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Yo, Japan, you can't say we didn't try. Okay, Japan, you can't say we didn't try to help you. Okay, they have 8 minutes according to Madonna and Justin Timberlake. You can save the world twice. So let's go. 8 minutes to do so. Can they find an equalizer in that time, in that space of time? This is it. 8 minutes is plenty of time. Let's see what happens. All right, Japan building into the middle. Sasai gets the ball again, but dispossessed. Here we go. Can Korea put the game away? No. Okuma stops it. Here we go. Ball up into the attacking midfield. Back into the midfield. Big moments here. Big moments here. Their system, I wouldn't say that they're trying to take it over, but I would say their systems are a little bit more rigid. Okay, free kick coming for Japan, cleared out, big moments coming through. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. And North Korea, do it. I think Asian teams have always had good systems of how to develop, and their systems are more defined. They, for lack of better words, they were the. I'll try to use shoe brands, but it'll be a terrible example. I think they had systems that were in place, but I think Spain jumping in really changed the game in terms of the profile that people are putting on to women's development in terms of, oh well, look at how Barca's implementing things. Look at how Real Madrid is implementing things. And I think that's why people look at, say, the European teams, because you can take the blueprints of, say, their men's programs, especially at the club level, and say, yeah, look at how they've recreated this. But I think Japan was doing it from time. Um, Korea, North Korea was always a solid side. We just never really knew what to expect from them, other than the fact that they were just good. And the South Koreans were always a solid side as well. The Chinese had moments. Suwen, 1999 World Cup, that's a thing. But they've always had systems, but they've just, yeah. It's also, they were also the first side, in my opinion, who really tried to counter the big styles, right? When Japan won the World Cup in 2011, they were the side that just said, we're just going to beat this side. We're going to take away their space and make it uncomfortable for them. And that's how they forced turnovers versus the US. Not many teams could really do that. But that half space intensity was really, and that uncomfortability was really what did it for them. And they were the first ones to really do it. And then the European teams just finally invest into what they were trying to do, and that's where they were. So I don't think it was necessarily that their teams always, they were the first ones, in my opinion. All right, I taking a chance here. Don't get me banned. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate whatever you were saying here. I don't feel like thinking it, but we out here in these streets. All right. Here we go. Another injury. Don't guys. I have I have streams. I can't do it all. All right. 95th minute is where we are. Probably 4 minutes left of gameplay, and we'll see what is available, what happens here. But the North Koreans certainly have had the better chances. They've wasted those chances, and Japan honestly just needs an opportunity, and maybe they can make something out of this game. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But here we go. A deep throw in coming for the North Koreans. Can they get some movement and maybe a shot to put this game away? We'll have to wait and see. But ball going in. Japan intercepts, looking like they're creating a bit more, but again, another throw in coming in. This is going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing. Knowing my luck, they will score in like the 99th minute. Like, and we have free football. What an intense, undeserved but deserved game. North Korea just trying to ice this game away. Really just trying to ice it away. But can they do it effectively? All right, 97th minute. Can you smell it, guys? Can you smell a trophy being presented? I can. I certainly can. But this is football. We've seen crazier things. We've seen crazier things. 97th minute. Here we go. North Korea have the ball. Oh, well, probably. At this point, they've been the more deserving of the side. So to me, I don't think that was that too shocking of a statement. But here we have North Korea building, seeing if they can just someone just put this game away. Because at this point, this is where we're at, and this is where we're sitting, and this is the life that we're in. So at this point, this is where we sit. A few more minutes left in this matchup, and we'll see what is available, what can happen, where we are. But 98th minute, sitting here, Japan trying to build out, but we'll wait and see. The time is ticking. This is when you take those convenient injuries. This is when you do it, and just this is the time to do it. Not when the first minute of the time, because after that, you're just adding time to additional time. We'll appreciate the translation. And that's fair. That's fair, Jin. I appreciate that. I think that's a more than a fair statement. Another wasted opportunity from Japan, and here we are. That's true. We love the people. We don't necessarily love the parties. There's nothing wrong with that statement whatsoever. Agreed. Congrats to the players as they are getting closer and closer to that moment. Getting closer and closer to that moment as they sit. I'm looking to see, do they get it over the line? Looks like they're in. We're in the 99th minute. As we're in the 99th minute, this game is just begging for those three whistle sounds so that we can just enjoy our days. Begging for those 3 minutes, begging for those three whistle sounds. Here we go. Waiting for a moment. Is the moment here? Is the moment here? On the stream, it's there. It's still going to the 100th minute. It feels like ah, just blow the whistle, ref, please. I beg of thee. Just blow the whistle. End this game. We are we wanna wish something, and goalkeeper holds it. I think they can taste it at this point. It's there. We are sitting here. It's there. Ah, almost. I just need to say the full time. 100th minute. 100th minute. An injury. Now is not the. Yeah, actually, I just said this is the time to do it. So at this point, guys, do what you must. I support you. Get this game to it. So as it sounds, as it currently sits, basically you have your golden boot, which is going to be Chosun, with Hijaka and Bendito probably getting your silver and bronze boots. Goalkeeper of the tournament, more than likely a North Korean goalkeeper. Only 2 goals conceded so far in terms of what's going on. And this is all waiting 101st minute because injuries are a thing. Just guys, we love you, but just call the game, or as we most affectionately say, end the stream. Drop ball situation, ball resumes. Let's see what happens. Waiting for the moments. 101st minute. We dream of such a time as this. We dream of such a time as this, where a ref blows the whistle 3 times. But not there yet. We are waiting. We are dreaming. We are waiting and dreaming. Let's see what happens. Now, at this point, we deserve the additional time. Sasai with the ball, Sasai progressing, last chance, last ditch effort. and saved. I do agree with that, DJ Gigs. You like the fact that the Asian players understand the knowledge of the football, even though some would say it's not. I think they have a system. Again, they have a system that is built for those types of sides. I think that ultimately does it for them. And it's 8 minutes, 102nd minutes. One day I'll grow up. Today's not that day though. We're still waiting. We are still waiting. Come on. Blow the whistle. Not going to happen. And we are still here. Okay. All right. It's just counting down the moments here. We're counting down the moments here, waiting for those final three whistles, but we're still not there. 12 minutes of additional time have gone through. Is this the moment? Is this the moment that we wait for? 103rd minute we're waiting to get to. Okay. Well, might as well. We did use a lot of that time for injuries, so ref is doing well by it. At that point, they should have given us 16. So if we're gonna do it that way, you should have given us 16. So we sit here, we wait for those final whistles to be blown. Yet we're still there, holding up in terms of what's going on. Still looking and still going, waiting for the moment. Waiting, seeing 114 minutes. Come on. And there it is. The whistle has gone. Ladies and gentlemen, North Korea, for now, the third time. Did I say third time? Is that the right one? Yeah, for the third time in 2006, 2016, and now in 2024 are your women's under 20 World Cup champions. With Japan coming in second, more than likely your golden boot is, as we said earlier, excuse me again, Chosun. 1-0 is the victory, and they have the result that they so needed. Champions again, returning to the world stage. And there we are. Let's take a look at some of these stats one last time to take a look at things. 1 goal conceded is all that it took. 9 shots total, 4 on target, 4 off target, 1 inside the penalty area for North Korea. Japan with 5 shots, 1 on target, 3 off target, 1 block more than likely. 1 yellow card for the North Koreans, 11 fouls, 2 offsides. Less possession, but more victory. And this is where we sit. Congratulations to North Korea for winning this. And with that, because life is where it is, I'm literally jumping from this to another one. So let's see if that's still there. Womp womp womp. Let's see if we still are here. Let's see what we got. All right. So we are just at the end there, guys. And we appreciate everyone who was here, everyone who left the like, touched the like button. Thank you for everyone who watched along as we kind of worked through it. Appreciate it. Again, we support the players, not necessarily always their regimes. But we're out here. Congratulations, North Korea, for winning this championship for the third time in 12 years. Yeah, 2006. No, actually, in 20 years. Third time in 20 years. Let's go 20. And that the math's out better. There we are, guys. Let's move on. And guys, thank you for being here. You'll see us next time at some other time. And when we're at that time, it'll be the time. Yeah, I don't know why that's a thing, but we're going to make it up. But guys, thank you for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. Until next time, we'll simply say thanks for watching. Until then, bye-bye for now.